Sorry. Start.
Window?
Yeah.
Wouldn't want anyone to see us sitting here talking like weirdos.
Actually, I'm doing it for the lighting.
Yeah. But that's the reason I care. I say it sarcastically, but I get weirded the fuck out when people witness me doing this shit, because they're like trying to explain it is too weird.
Trust me, I've dealt with it twice now. One with when I got my washer and dryer installed, and another time when a guy delivered pizza to me. Because I had the window open, he saw me as he was walking up to deliver pizza, and that was awkward. He was like, "Oh, you make music?" I was like, "No."
No.
I was like,
only music with my soul.
I was like, I can sing music poorly if you want me to into a microphone that's way too high quality for that shit.
In an offensive voice.
Wake me up, it's I can't wake up, wake me up and save me.
We're never going to forget that song for our entire life, you know that, right?
The Goofy one?
Like, not even that.
Or just that song.
Just that song, period.
I mean,
Like,
yeah.
it's just a trap of realizing that our generation's two most memorable songs ever created are All-Star and Bring Me to Life. Those are the songs of our people.
That's it, of our people.
Yeah.
Those are the songs of millennials.
I'm mad at these.
I'm mad at...
I'm mad at these...
And welcome to the podcast where we're mad at these.
Yeah. Skip an hour if you don't want to get Ready Player One spoilers, probably.
Oh, okay. I guess we're going to do Ready Player One spoilers. So Keith's holding the Ready Player One book. For those of you who are unaware, he is holding it right now.
He owns a copy.
I do. I got it for free from Lootbox. You know that thing that's basically just this book?
So, like,
Just a nostalgia grab?
So, like 4 months ago or something, when I was doing my Zelda series, the Breath of the Wild one.
Okay. I was going to say, you have to be specific. You have...
So, I kept hearing about Ready Player One for years, and I broke into, like, the audiobook. And I was like, let's just do this, because I had some downtime where I was doing the one part of all of my Breath of the Wild series that could be called grinding, basically. Okay. And I was like, sure, let's listen to Ready Player One. And I had the best possible first impression you could get, which is that he was talking about this dystopian future where previous generations fucked up the entire world, and it's up to us to try to rebuild it, but no one's doing that because they're distracted by all their media and all this other shit's going on. And I was doing the Terrytown quest in Zelda.
Yeah.
And I had no wood. And I had to get like 100 wood or whatever the fuck they have. And right below Terrytown, where will be one day, is a giant forest. Mm-hmm. And so I set upon a goal.
Off to the side.
I set upon a goal with my big old axe I had to just deforest it.
The whole
from
thing?
one side to the other, I was just deforesting
that was necessary.
Just that little area that's like by the river and everything. It's like a little circular forest.
Oh, yeah, I guess that
grove.
wasn't much.
I was just trying to deforest the entire place. Found out you can't do that ultimately. By the time you're getting to the opposite end of it, the backside is respawning.
Yeah,
apparently.
Yeah,
but that's what I was doing to get all the wood for the entire Town quest chain, basically.
Yeah, it needs a lot.
And I was doing that while listening to Will Wheaton read the first chapter of Ready Player One.
Oh boy,
Will Wheaton, who was also in Ready Player One as a character. So that's something.
Who's he playing? A joke of himself?
He plays the guy who runs the Oasis. He's the governor.
Come on!
Will Wheaton's the governor of the Oasis in Oasis. He's never a character. I don't think he says anything or is ever on camera in the book. But he's like the leader of the Oasis, not the creator, not the company that runs it, but the current governor, basically the elected person. That's like, I don't even know what that does in the video game. Are you like a PR official?
No, you just have mod rules.
Yeah, he's like an admin.
He's just an admin.
Yeah,
a voted admin.
Yeah. At that point, how old is he? 60? How old is he in this future if he's Will Wheaton? And the first chapter's good.
Okay.
The first chapter's good. Talking about the state of the world is interesting. Talking about the life the main character leads and why they escaped the Oasis to go not integrate with their real life and how bad that is and like how he deals with that stuff is really like that's a good chapter. Okay. And there's like 3 total good chapters in the entire book. Period. There's that one. There's the one about his after he like starts making money. He has like the ultra hermit apartment where he will never leave. There's like reinforced doors and everything's like steel reinforced walls and like it's a super mega cage. But also he's gone into this weird level of like conditioning himself to become a superhuman, where he's like training himself, and if he doesn't meet his quotas for training, he'll get locked out of the Oasis because there's like a fitness lock and all that stuff.
Oh, it's like, and he's like talking physically he's trying to get himself fit. Oh, okay.
He's talking about his absurd like mega apartment that suits all of his needs, which are all these warped desires, because all he wants is just to be on the Oasis all the time, and that's it. So it's like that whole chapter is just porn for you. If you get to that chapter, you might as well just skip to it.
Preferences. I've never read Ready Player One. I have no idea anything beyond like what people keep talking about since it started becoming a movie now.
No,
I have no concept. All I know is that it's just what was the word that someone said? It was
it's lists of things you've heard of.
No, it's there was a quote that someone said, not from the back of the book.
I'm like, should I start looking at them?
No, not them. It's the equivalent of Black Panther for gamers.
Oh, the article that was posted this morning. That's why I've been thinking about it today.
Yeah, that
idiot.
That article, which I thought was top tier. There's a very top tier article titling right there, where I was like, I don't think you understand how anything works, and I think you're also downplaying a very important thing.
To step back from the book itself, and just to like the arc I was talking about of like my relationship with this book is like I listened to the first chapter, we'll do the Terrytown thing, and there was like a mechanical parallel between what I was doing in the game and what I was listening to in the thing. And
which
it's
like, the world being destroyed.
This is like what walking simulators do. This is working.
Yeah.
But then from then on, it became my walking simulator because I was I would listen to the rest of the book while going on walks, and so it was just a thing to do. I was keeping busy, and so like I have a relationship with many books, but especially audiobooks, where I end up with an almost like across the board response of it was fine every single time.
Is that because they're audiobooks, or
like it's because I'm doing something, I'm keeping busy, it's serving its purpose like a podcast of just keeping me occupied for a bit. And then usually my immediate response when it's over is like, oh, it was fine. And then the real test with books, especially audiobooks in particular, is how I process it over time. Because
when you think about it later.
When I think about it later, what do I think about and what is there to think about and stuff like that?
Okay.
And that's when Ready Player One became a problem.
Oh,
like that's when Ready Player One started to really fall apart. And the problem is that like I didn't know about the movie when I read the book.
So
I was just like, people keep mentioning it, let's just get this over with and let's just do this. But now the movie's happening and people won't stop talking about Ready Player One. And now I just keep getting reminded of it, which makes me think about it again, and I try to like analyze like,
and it gets worse.
I try to extract any good from it.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like squeezing blood from a stone, like that. Like it's just there's
nothing to get out of it.
Like it's mostly just those two chapters. There's another one where he's like infiltrating an evil corporation in a setting. You'll notice that all the best parts of the book take place in the real world and aren't anything related to any of the stuff you've heard about what this thing is about.
Which is
and they're also like each of them is like a chapter total.
Oh, good. Book. I'm glad we can solve those real world problems so quickly.
Because this takes place in the Oasis, and that's where all the bad is. And the plot is bad, and the characters are bad, and the premise is bad, and the message is bad, and the ending is bad.
The message is bad.
Oh, it is a terrible message. It doesn't. It also contradicts its own message more or less.
What is the message here?
It's amazing.
What are we supposed to walk away from with Ready Player One?
So you're supposed to think that ultimately distracting yourself from all the problems of the world and surrounding yourself with nostalgia and media and escaping to a virtual world is supposed to like be a bad thing, and that's why the world was bad or something.
Yeah.
But at the same time, completely dousing himself in nostalgia and media and the Oasis and just doing all the most destructive possible things he could ever do leads to him getting a girlfriend, meeting his friend in real life, getting untold quantities of money, becoming incredibly rich, and just generally just improving himself in every single possible way and basically setting himself up for life. So you can't just say the message is the opposite at the end when the character's benefit is, yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
It's like as if you watched Requiem for a Dream, and at the end, everything worked out perfectly. And everyone's a millionaire now. Instead of everyone being fucked because it's a movie about drugs destroying people's lives.
Yeah.
Like you can't make the story.
I was actually going to mention that where it's like you're talking about like it is like
you can't just make up a message at the end that contradicts the entire book and claim that it fixed it.
Like I think it's like that sounds almost like a backpedaling where he didn't want to like get into a situation where he basically lambasted people for having nostalgia and wanting to relive the past.
Is so arbitrarily his nostalgia and interests too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be this 80s thing, but also, like, there's a whole Serenity galaxy. Like, Firefly.
What the fuck? No, that's
like,
not...
They just... It's like, yeah, but also Firefly, because I like it. It's, like, interesting how you're going to use Serenity, but there's not, like, a Twilight planet. Because that was a lot more popular than Firefly ever was. But you're going to tell me fucking Firefly is it gets a whole fucking sector in this distant future?
Do you know how many... polls I've seen online to bring back Firefly to the air? Way more than Twilight.
It's pretend popular, like Beyond Good and Evil and Psychonauts.
Yeah.
Where there's actually no demand in the market for them to have sequels and remakes, but we pretend that they are because some people really like them, which is fine.
Yeah.
But let's not pretend that they're ultra mega popular things.
Let's not lie to ourselves. Psychonauts 2 will not sell as much as it has cost to make it.
I might play it, but I'm just like
but no one's asking. No one is literally. There's not like this huge market demand for this thing.
I also noticed a really creepy thing that I usually should notice in Japanese media, and specifically like
in Ready Player One.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Specifically, we've talked about this before regarding Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Oh yeah,
the one where there's a few guys but a bunch of girls in the party, and the main character. Every girl is just like in love with the main character for no particular reason, but all of the guys have to either be like delegitimized in some way or distanced because they can't be sexual like competitors.
Yeah.
So because the main character has to be the vector of sex for all the girls. Like that's just how the story works.
I mean, it's real life.
And all the dudes have to either not express any interest or they have to be like off-putting in some way, or because we talked about like in that one, like there was the blue-haired, there's the usual like blue-haired glasses character that can't interface with humans correctly, so they don't matter.
Yeah.
There's the best friend that just doesn't ever express any interest, and then we both know about Barry, the nightmare American Weebo guy that's like 2D over 3D and all this other shit. And it's like, oh wow, so he's like impossible. So obviously you, completely characterless, featureless, blank slate protagonist, must be the fuckboy. This spoilers for Ready Player One again. This thing does that. Which is that there's 3 characters total, so it's not like there's a harem of women or anything.
Oh, well, that's nice.
But of course, the girl totally falls for the guy, and of course, the one other guy in the story, the best friend character, has to be delegitimized as being a sexual competitor. So they turn out to be a woman that was just playing a male avatar online.
Does that make
so then you don't have to deal with like, oh no, we
don't know,
who's gonna like the girl?
I mean, maybe the main girl is a lesbian. Maybe she was like
plot twist.
Yeah, wouldn't that be interesting if she was like, well, maybe you're a girl playing as a guy, and the guy's like, I am, and it's like, oh, well, this is perfect, and the main character's like, oh.
Which brings me to some of the stuff, because we saw that first. We saw the article this morning that was posted about is Ready Player One the Black Panther for gamers, and it's like, boy, oh boy, are those not comparable things. I know that the gamers love to talk about themselves as being like downtrodden and like totally discriminated against, and wow, we need gamer pride. Let's unify against any group that ever threatens games, which has usually basically never been a person that ever done.
Which is basically like Republicans.
Yeah, now it's Republicans at the moment, basically. But generally, the people that supposedly threaten games just didn't actually like. We got to stop the women from existing.
Like all those other people who threatened like movies and books that nothing happened of it.
And usually
like movies specifically, which is like the one that people have been arguing for forever.
Or like freaking threats against gamers are so nonsensical that half the time it's actually a marketing gimmick made by a game company, like the Dead Space. Like your mama doesn't want you to play Dead Space. Or I'm appealing to your edgelord bullshit.
Oh wait, I'm sorry.
That was Dante's Inferno.
Whenever EA makes a game,
those are both EA. Those are both EA marketing things, trying to manipulate gamers for how they feel like they feel like they're being naughty by playing video games. Yeah. One of the most popular forms of media in the entire world. Wow, you're such a nerd. You got to hide your interests because you like Iron Man. What has that changed? Like a lot.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think that's one of I feel like that's a it only happens because people convince themselves that it's true.
Like,
where people convince themselves, like, yeah, I am a persecuted group of people. Nobody likes gamers. It's like, do you even go outside and talk to people? Because if you don't, you can't really argue.
You really
here.
can just talk about, you can just talk to random people about video games now, and it generally works unless they're 50.
Yeah, I mean, you could even
if they're literally your parents, they might not know what you're talking about, but they're dying. It's true. Like when I talked about the millennial stuff before, it's like millennials are the majority of the human population.
Yeah.
It's like, because old people die, and new people are born and are probably still alive. That's how it works. That's how it works.
If the schools haven't gotten them yet.
It's like, let's not liken like black people trying to get representation in like a big blockbuster movie to gamers. Which
I will. Okay, so here's the thing. I will give them that nerd characters are not well represented in movies.
And they still aren't.
Because
this guy is a fat slob piece of shit garbage pail.
No, he's not.
And in the movie he's a fucking
hunk.
Model, but they put glasses on him. So that means he's a nerd now. It's like, what the fuck?
It's like the Ghostbusters thing where they put the glasses on the secretary guy. It's like, yeah, he's like goofy and silly, but he's still incredibly hot. And it's like, what?
They're doing the thing.
But then when you look at the
they're
old
doing the
Ghostbusters,
thing where like there's the ugly girl in every piece of like shitty 90s college media. There's the ugly girl that like changes their hair. They bring their hair down and take their glasses off, and they're hot now. It's like, because they always looked like that. Yeah. They just were wearing glasses. That's not how it works.
I mean,
we could tell we have eyes. You weren't tricking us.
Anime does that in two forms. Anime does it where the girls will wear like those stupid giant glasses that have swirls on them. And like, you're like, she just looks like a weirdo. But then she takes them off. You're like, Gaspious, her eyes make her suddenly beautiful.
Sparkles.
But like, then the other one is where girls will have like, in anime, they'll have their hair mostly covering their face, like to a point where it's like, you can't even function as a human. How do you do this? But then like on accident, they'll like, a gust of wind will kick up their hair and people are like, Gasp, you are beautiful. And it's like, you could have just like looked under her hair and would have noticed this problem. Like, it's not as if you have to remove the hair to see the beauty. You can
like,
just,
as far as progress goes, it's like Black Panther. It's easy to make fun of the fact like it's clearly not the first superhero movie that's a black guy. Like, not even close.
No.
But it's the biggest amount of money that's ever been in the hands of a black director ever, for example. Like, there's cool pieces of progress all over the place, and it is interesting to talk about if you don't make like overblow it necessarily. But wow, our first ever nerd director. It's like, fucking all the directors are fucking nerds all the time. Steven Spielberg, probably not really in that fucking list, honestly. Steven Spielberg, oh wow, breaking new ground. Steven Spielberg is directing, and then it's like,
it's another book,
and it's like, wow, good thing we got our first ever video game movie. Like, we have so many video games movies, and we had a 3D animated movie full of video game cameos a few years ago.
I don't remember Wreck-It Ralph. Do you?
It's not even old yet. Like, do you remember?
Also,
remember seeing Chun-Li in that movie? Now you can see Chun-Li in this movie. And neither of them are Chun-Li. They're just a fucking avatar in the background with no personality that doesn't do anything. It's a toy. It's an amiibo.
You know what's coming out soon? Wreck-It Ralph 2. Oh, we're getting more of the same gamer movie. That's interesting. I wonder if there will be new stuff. Oh, wait, no. Wreck-It Ralph 2 has all the fellow kids.
But also Disney Pixar movies actually have a story and personality and a message to go along with, and they're doing that, and then all the shit's set dressing, and this doesn't.
You do realize, like, I didn't think about it. Sorry to derail.
I just did that directly to the microphone. I should not do that.
No. I didn't think about it, but after I got done watching the trailer for Wreck-It Ralph 2, it took me a second. I was like, wait, this is just a Disney version of the Emoji Movie, but better.
Way better.
But that's like that's all it is.
The Emoji Movie, like, it was like somebody who didn't speak the same language as Disney movies and like just saw it in a different language, and they sort of grasped the vague emotional arc that movies are supposed to have and just kind of like blindly flailed at it for a bit.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not saying it's but I'm saying it's the same concept where it's like, hey, two characters are just stuck in like cell phones and the internet, and it's like, what does that mean? Well, they're going to do stuff and it's going to interfere with how a program runs somehow. And it's like that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, this will be better, I guess, than Emoji Movie, thankfully, but also really confusing as to the fact that this happened twice now.
And what's gross is like in this comparison, like a black director getting tons of money to make a movie is like a legit, like that's actually happening. That's thing happening.
Just like Peele winning an Oscar.
But like
those are like progress. Those are things that don't happen, and we go, hey, you should do that more. Good job.
But like this is like a commercial.
Yeah.
It's like in the book at least, like we're talking about the movie at this case.
Technically, Black Panther's a commercial too.
Well, I mean like I mean like in the book itself. Like,
but I get what
he
you're
was
saying.
writing down his nostalgic shit that's all personal to him, and he's obsessing over it. Like that's why Firefly's in there for no reason and shit like that.
Yeah,
even though it contradicts any sort of scope that the game that there was kind of in there. But we looked at stills of the movie, and it's like here's Tracer and Sans and Tomb Raider, but it's the reboot version because it's the one that Square Enix wants to present.
Yeah,
and it's like there was just a fucking like AdSense bidding war of which CG characters do you want to have inserted in here, and whoever pays the most gets center frame during the cuts. So it's going to be center frame on Tracer because Activision Blizzard has a lot of money.
Are you saying that Ready Player One is just Food Wars 2?
It's a fucking commercial. It's just a giant fucking auction house. It's like watching an Adam Sandler movie where it's like the whole middle part's going to take place on a cruise liner because they got sponsored by that cruise liner, and let's make sure that all these Cokes are facing the screen and stuff like that. Would you like to buy a Sony laptop? It's funny how only Sony laptops exist in this entire universe. Like that, everything on the screen is going to be whoever won a bid war to get their character in the thing because it's a full feature-length commercial.
That reminds me of...
And it's a feature-length commercial that's just masking National Treasure 3 without Nicolas Cage. Because that's what the story is.
Treasure.
It's National Treasure. It's Da Vinci Code.
They're just... Oh, right. You're telling me, yeah. It's like they break,
that's what the story of this book is.
They break down like some kind of mystery or like puzzle that was left behind by the creator to get figured out or whatever.
Yeah. Should we get into the premise of this book? Like the actual premise?
I mean, go for it.
Some douchey Steve Jobs type dude dies, but he left a death message, this pre-recorded video that's like, I've created my, just, you know, like, it's like Zero from Zero Escape. Like, he's just like, here's my master plan. I set it all up, and now you have to play, and all that shit. And it's just a really obnoxious treasure hunt of Easter eggs. Full of riddles. And that's it. And
I'm assuming all the riddles are based off nostalgia.
So you have to get 3 keys. So it's a 2-step process for each one. First, you have to solve the riddle about the key. The first riddle was in the actual message itself, so everyone knows it. And no one solved it for like 15 years, is the setup of the thing.
For 15 years?
You know what that makes it? It's not a good riddle.
Like, in comparison...
It's like worse than Monte Crypto.
Yeah, I was going to say, Monte Crypto's been out for like less than a year, and people are getting real close to that.
This is a year of like Ready Player One parallels because the movie's coming out, but there's Monte Crypto and there's VR Chat.
Oh yeah, VR Chat
is like... This is VR Chat.
Basically.
So you solve the first riddle to figure out where the key is. Then when you get to the key, there's some kind of challenge involved, generally.
Okay.
You beat the challenge to get the key. Then you take it to the actual lock, which you also find via whatever riddle you get in the process of getting the key. And when you unlock that, there's another challenge, and then you win one of the 3 trophies, goblets. I don't know. There's like a bronze, silver, and gold. Like there's 3 keys and 3 rewards or whatever you got. I don't remember what the actual item was. It doesn't matter. And so that means the entire plot of the movie is some guy saying a weird riddle and then sitting there for like 2 chapters not knowing what it is, and then then there's the epiphany where the author pretends to solve the riddle that he knew the answer to because he wrote it. And it's like, and that's it usually, like, yeah. And then he goes and does a challenge, and that happens. Like first of all, there's already a problem, which is that the riddle is just based on all of the entire concept of like 80s media. Basically. Yeah,
I was going to say, it's just nostalgia
so
shit,
it'll just be some obscure factoid about, like, a sitcom or something.
So Google doesn't exist in this world?
That's, like, the answer to the riddle is, like, just something boring like that? Whereas, like...
15 years. You're telling me 15 years?
So it's, like, it's an incompetent, like, mystery.
Okay.
And this is a reoccurring question, because people get mad at us for, like, calling 999 a bad mystery and stuff like that. But this is a much worse mystery.
I mean, it sounds almost implausible.
And, like, just read a fucking Sherlock Holmes book, man. Like, if you want to know what a mystery is, they've been making them forever. That's the entire premise of procedural shows.
If you want
is that, like, a competent mystery is so easy to write that they make 20-season shows that then get 3 spin-offs that also go for 20 seasons because of how easy it is.
You want to know a secret, guys? There are almost 900 episodes of Detective Conan. You can go watch...
Is that a legit mystery show, or is it pretending to be one?
You can literally watch any episode, and it is a self-contained mystery.
And you know how it goes. Like, there's not just...
And they're not the same mysteries either.
You don't just start the episode with a question, then nothing really happens, and then it's answered at the end.
Yeah.
There's like a series of different pieces of information that come up, and some of them lead to nothing, and some of them are like, oh, this is it, this is adding, oh, that might be something, and oh, is that something? Or no, that's actually pointing at the wrong dude. Or then the final thing comes in, and like that one thing isn't single-handedly the answer. It's that crossed with like 6 things are like everything falls into place to make the picture, and then you have an answer, and like, oh shit. It's like that's how it goes.
Yeah, with like
But this book legitimately on a regular basis is him just realizing something.
Of course.
And that's how he solves the mystery?
Yeah, like Case Closed they do a very stereotypical thing, which is, hey, here are 3 people who we think might be the bad guy. Mm-hmm. And it's like as you're going through, you're like you'll find clues, and the clues will direct you to one of those 3 people. And usually the clues make a lot more sense for one particular person than it does like someone else. But then there's like one little piece. It's like, oh, like you didn't pay...
Like the clues are often leaning towards a particular thing, but then the last thing like breaks it.
Well, no, it's like, usually the last thing. Well, like all the clues lead up to something, but the last clue that comes out is usually like then when you look at a puzzle all completed, you're like, wait a second, it wasn't that guy all along, it was you. And it's
it's part of the fun of doing the early part of 999 was having we kept trying to question who Zero might be throughout it, because there was so many little pieces and details that like might kind of point at different people, and that was like that was when we were having peak fun.
Yeah, it was peak fun
because the answers were too dumb, unfortunately. And that was infuriating.
But I hate those kind of mysteries where it's just the person just going like, man, this is really tough. Or wait, is it? And then they like figure it out, and you're like, can I come to that conclusion too? Yep. I didn't come to that conclusion.
But here's another issue is that, that's the mystery part. Then you get to each of the keys/keyholes, and each one's a challenge.
Okay.
And the challenges are also boring.
Like stick your finger in the hole and see when it unlocks?
Here's an interesting challenge. Here's a bit of fun that everyone loves. I'll even shower it in nostalgia, because that makes people like stuff more.
Oh.
Remember that time that Bilbo met Gollum? And they had to outsmart each other in a riddle game?
Yeah!
A challenge. Especially one that translates well to a book. Because they're doing riddles at each other.
Yeah.
And like they got outsmart each other. And what's he going to do? And it wasn't his riddle, the ring was the answer and stuff like that. Because he stole it already. Like, what's in my pocket? It's like, that's cheating and all that stuff. Like, it's great. Yeah, it's a fun chapter. Everyone fucking remembers it because it's a fantastic scene in a fantasy book that everyone likes. In this one, it's like he's playing Joust against an AI. And so, guess what? Guess how the video game challenges work in this game. At first, he thinks he's going to lose, but then he finds a little strategy that seems to kind of be working, and then he wins. Every time.
But Joust.
It's like a written Let's Play of Joust.
Which is literally...
And it's not even really detailed. It's just like, oh no, I'm losing. He's kind of hard. But if you do this, the AI kind of can't compensate for that. And then he abuses it to win.
For those of you unaware, because you may be either too young or just didn't give a shit about fucking garbage old Atari games, Joust is a game where you literally are on a giant ostrich that can fly. And your goal is to...
knock the other guy off?
Your goal is to step on the head of another person.
Yeah.
Or basically your Joust needs to hit the other person.
Hit each other while being slightly higher.
Yes. That's Joust.
It's like Flappy Bird, and that you're moving, except with a joystick, so you can move left and right, but you're tapping a thing to like go... and
then you can soar.
And you just want to collide with other people while being slightly higher, and you win the Joust. Yeah. And that's the whole game.
That's Joust. So, for those of you wondering, like, when hard AI
doesn't... if you want to read a text version of a Let's Play of Joust... Chapter something is here for you.
Also, there's no such thing as a hard mode in Joust, because Joust is just Joust, and the AI was just built the way it was.
But we haven't hit peak masturbatory nostalgia yet.
Does it get more?
There's worse.
Oh,
because one of the challenges
Pong
is apparently in this future there is a video game equivalent of those old video games on the full motion video ones where you had to do quick time events to live basically.
Yes,
like
Night Trap.
Yeah, well, no, not Night Trap. More like Dragon. There's too many Dragon games, so I can't tell what any of them are called anymore. The Don Bluth Dragon game.
Oh,
you're a knight. and you're just pressing the right button at the right time the whole
Dragon's
game.
Keep. Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair, you're
Dragon's
right.
Lair.
Yeah, like that. Or like I played some full motion video on like this fucking Sega CD as a kid where like some old guy... Yeah. There's some middle-aged guy, and he's like, oh, no, I'm on a skateboard now. How do I dodge traffic? And, like, there's some weird, nonsensical sequence of events.
Grandpa, get off the skateboard!
There's a lot of him falling over if you press the wrong thing. And, like, no, you didn't do it right. I don't remember what the premise was exactly. It's like that, except you're in full VR, and you're acting it out in person, and you're acting out scenes of old movies and television shows. And this is where he hit peak, like, masturbatory nostalgia, is he's just recreating a scene from a show verbatim, and that's like a chapter, and it's so boring even he knows not better than to actually show all of it. Like he's like you're arbitrarily skipping forward in time to various parts of it because it's like, how do you even write about this? But like,
and this is going to be in the movie.
I've heard the movie changes stuff considerably. So I don't know what the movie's going to be like, but this is the book that everyone's been talking about all this year.
That's upsetting because I wanted to see him play a VR of like Seinfeld. Like that would be hilarious. Yeah, well, he had to play as Kramer.
It's just inserted into the scene.
Yeah, but like imagine having to memorize Kramer's lines and like give them like word for word. That would be really hard as a challenge.
Just walks in and slaps his foot on the table and it's like, look at this.
It's like, Jerry, can you believe this? It's like, whoa, this guy's really good at Kramer.
So this leads to me. So there was already the article posted this morning where I was like, oh, fuck. But then I got here, and I saw Ready Player One on your shelf.
Yeah.
I've seen before, but then I picked it up this time. And I've never seen the cover before.
Yeah, because they had the audiobook.
With all the... I technically got it... I got it as a gift for Christmas for someone, because I'm like, this is someone that's consumed with 80s nostalgia. Fine, I'll just give this to... I can just... This works. But I didn't look at it, really.
Yeah.
So this thing's covered in infuriating quotes.
It is.
And also...
It also looks like District 9 on the cover.
It looks like... Yeah, the cover's... Actually, the cover fits... That's chapter 1. Like, that's the good part of the book. Is that like that setting?
Is that like
Earth?
Real
like,
life now?
It's a bunch of trailer... It's a bunch of...
trailers stacked on each other.
trailers stacked on each other. It's a stack of trailers. Yeah, they're even called the stacks.
It's skyscrapers of trailers. That's...
Yeah.
I'm sure there was not...
It's just super cheap, dangerous housing, basically.
Because we just didn't have... Humanity just lost the ability to have buildings?
They fucked up society. But first of all, they name drop other media like crazy on the cover of this thing to sell this, much like how the movie is.
Yeah.
It's like, look, Tracer's in the trailer.
Iron Giant.
You should make 500 YouTube videos about the 100 Easter eggs in this trailer. Be our marketing. Please market our movie for us that you've never seen before and you don't even know if it's good or not, but thanks for agreeing to promote it, like that stuff. So right on the cover, they say, enchanting, Willy Wonka meets the Matrix. And on the back, they say, delightful, the grown-ups, Harry Potter. Like, it's just like all the big text is like name-dropping other people. And in fact, there's a whole block here of reviews. And these reviews in the small text that get the block treatment don't name drop anybody. But the 2 review quotes that name drop other media to sell this book get the big, like, top of the book special, like, isolated treatment of Willy Wonka, Matrix, Harry Potter, Huffington Post.
What if I'm trying to combine Matrix and Willy Wonka. Like, is it the end Neo like goes up to the robots and the robots are like, you get all of the robots now, and he like takes them on an elevator and he's like flying through Earth and sees all the people in the pods, and it's like the robot is sitting there, it's like, Neo, I want you to understand that I'm getting old, and I need someone to take care of all of these humans for me. And it's like, what?
Remember how Willy Wonka required imagination? In fact, it was in the song. Come with me.
It was so important we sung it to you.
Be in a world of sweet imagination.
I remember that.
So this book's imagination is to go to a Wikipedia list and then Control A, Control C, Control V into the script, and it's just fucking listing shit at you that you know about, and it's like it's wearing everything you love as its skin, like Hannibal Lecter. Like that's what it does to all the things you love. Which we get to is like this. Just so we're clear about what this movie is. If you're psyched because you saw Batman in the trailer or there's a movie poster of the Iron Giant, just know that the Iron Giant is like Steve from Iowa, because this whole game takes place in VR chat.
Yeah,
it's just
they're all avatars
using avatars. Like, I went on a rant on Twitter about this at one point because I'm trying to get this in people's heads. It's like, you presumably don't care about these characters just because of their design, unless you're the most shallow media consumer ever.
Yeah.
Like, I know that it happens, so I can't completely hand away.
I mean, there's some people who don't care about the backstory of Overwatch characters, at the same time, it's not like they don't exist.
But
like,
even Overwatch characters, their personality shines through constantly without you actually even looking into more. Like, Tracer acts away.
She has voice lines and speaks in a certain manner. And like
poses and stuff like that. And it's like, they each one has a personality and how they move and everything, clearly. Like, so you can't escape the personality. They made a point out of that. But I get there's some shallow, shitty people out there that just like the design of something and nothing else. And that's the proof of that was Lightning from Final Fantasy 13, who became a massive multimedia campaign that sold clothes and perfume and would be plastered on skyscrapers all the way down the entire wall, like painted on the skyscrapers. Did you see all those, like that kind of shit?
We live in a very interesting time.
She was a vacuous non-entity with no personality, and the worst protagonist to ever be in a Final Fantasy game.
Oof, yeah.
And she got a trilogy. And she was plastered on the walls, and she sold She sold fashion.
Keith,
what was that fashion company?
I don't remember, but she was damn beautiful, Keith. She was so pretty, and she was so strong and independent, and she loved her sister, and she really hated
that good of a design by their standards.
She really hated blonde guys. I think that's all I know about Lightning, is that she's really strong. She loves her sister. She hated that blonde guy.
So if you're one of the people they were marketing Lightning to for like a decade, then I guess have at it with Ready Player One. But for everyone else that like...
You mean like Tomb Raider?
For everyone else that like watched like Iron Giant and like knows that it's like one of the best animated films ever made and like cares about like what the fuck the point of the show was, then like you probably should be a little bothered by like, this is a movie about like some guy named Steve that's wearing an Iron Giant skin. He's gonna go punch Pinocchio or something like that, and he's gonna like probably use a gun and destroy his like anything about the message of the movie or what his personality was or anything like that. Yeah. It's like
it's interesting because
it's not them. They're just toys being smashed together, and that's the whole. This loop is dangerous.
It's what is it? What's the name of that stupid movie? The toy one, or not Toy Story, but the one where the toys come to life and fight each other.
Was it Small Soldiers?
Small Soldiers, there it is. Yeah, it's basically Small Soldiers, but
even as a kid, I was like, that got surprisingly dark. Did he just get shot by like a nail gun? Yeah, like children being shot by nail guns.
I think one of them got hit by a lawnmower, and he didn't literally have legs, and he's crawling on the lawn. And he's I need help. And I was like,
specifically in that movie, the toys shoot the children with like nail guns. And
guns
and,
they had
bodily harm to children via like stabbings and stuff. I'm like. Huh.
I think one of them also like tried to kill one of them in their sleep with a knife. And I was like, yo, like this isn't Chucky level. This is like scarier. Because these are not suspicious looking toys. They're just like crappy bargain bin shit at a toy store. And it's like, and they're not possessed either. That's the worst part. They're just like artificial intelligence. What was the plot? It was like military grade artificial intelligence implanted into toys on accident.
Of course.
And you know why they did it was because the artificial intelligence chip was the only way that they can make those toys speak when you pressed a button. But then there was an accident where the chip was actually aware of what was going on. So it's like, what is this fucking movie? And I think that the whole premise was like the kid's store that sold them wasn't even supposed to get them in the first place. Because, like...
I mean, it's always a nonsense background of, they had to come up with less racist-sounding things than I went to Chinatown and bought a mogwai from a mystical elder man.
At least that's interesting, though! At least it's interesting because you say,
it was an accident from the government. Because in the 90s, the government's evil.
It was a corporation.
I meant to say corporation. Like, it's always evil corporations are ruining everything. Like how every movie in the 90s was about how, like, your poor dad, like it's always from the kid's perspective, and the dad, like, just isn't around. Like, the dad needs to learn that family is more important than business, because they always start the movie in a boardroom and they're a cynical, uptight businessman, but he's not around his kid enough. And his kid's like, Daddy, aren't you going to take me to the baseball game? Like, I would love to, son, and I totally will. And then he doesn't.
Because he has an important meeting that happens.
Like in like Liar Liar or Jingle All the Way, or every movie where the guy starts in a scene, he's in a tower, he's in a skyscraper, and he's in a suit. It's always gray, and he's a successful CEO lead man dude. And he's got to do like a marketing campaign or something, and his children's neglected. But then over the course of shenanigans of 90 minutes, he learns to be there for his kids.
I think that's awesome.
And say, fuck you, Dan, or whatever the hell, to his boss. They made the same movie like 40 times. It happened so many times. They made it a
lot of times. I think like even Arnold Schwarzenegger has a movie where that's the premise.
Jingle All the Way. That's the one where it's him fighting over, they're fighting over like the toy.
That's
toys.
right.
Comes all around. It comes all around. It comes all around.
Jesus, why do we keep letting this happen? Why do we keep doing this? If you did a video analysis on human entertainment, someone would be like, "This is a mistake. I don't know what happened." Like, sorry.
By the way, if you're reading this book and you're like 999ing it like we did, and you're just looking at all the details, like, oh, that's going to come into play. That's coming to come into play. You can literally just like know the ending.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's that obvious?
It's pretty obvious. I mean, you already know what's going to happen. Like, here's the infuriating thing is one of these quotes says, this isn't related, but this is a really bad quote too. A most exciting ride. Klein stuffs his novel with a cornucopia of pop culture as if to wink to the reader. What does that mean? Wink. You know what Back to the Future is. Get it?
Wait, he's right, I do.
Like, that's a fucking... You praised them for that, Boston Globe? Fuck you. But no,
you praise him for basically like pandering to somebody with commercials.
An addictive read, part intergalactic scavenger hunt, part romance, and all heart.
Part romance.
I fucking hate these.
What romance? So isn't it just the guy and the girl like getting to know each other basically? And at the end, she just goes like, "Hey, I want to fuck you."
Honestly,
well, you know what I mean. Like
he kind of just stalks her because he reads her blog obsessively and cares about her too much, and she doesn't know who he is.
And that's how you get a girlfriend.
Then he wins the girl at the end.
Because she was single.
Yeah.
And he's really rich now.
But he gets to be the good guy because he looks past her physical deformities because she has a slight birthmark on her face that doesn't actually diminish any of her beauty. So, but he gets to sound like he's the hero for that reason too because fucking this protagonist can't do no wrong. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
What is a slight deformity? Wait, what? A birthmark is a slight deformity?
Everything is just so shittily framed to make him the hero in every situation. Even when he's winning the girl, he has to win the girl in a way that makes him even cooler. It's like so fucking awkward.
That is like the most shittiest thing ever. Is like
this is infuriating. As one adventure leads expertly to the next, time simply evaporates. Like
literally time.
This quote that's Entertainment Weekly. So thanks for that, Entertainment Weekly.
That's Entertainment Weekly.
They're suggesting that they somehow like
lost time,
transition well between adventures or something.
I think
they lead expertly into the next.
I think they're talking about.
He laid out the premise in the first chapter and said, "Yeah, you get these three things, and then put it back into those three things, and that's what happens." And then a mystery happens each time. It's literally the most mechanical, forced possible way to structure your book, and there's nothing graceful about any part of it. There's no surprises in how it's laid out. It literally is just like, here's the next key, there's the next mystery. Like you're at a fucking like a children's like carnival or something, and like here's your ticket for coming to this station and stuff like that.
Great.
Where's the there's the one I was actually looking for. Was a rollicking, surprise-laden, pot-boiling, thrilling adventure story. Surprise-laden. The moment you start watching this, you instantly know what's going to happen. Like, oh, there's a girl, he's going to get the girl. Oh, there's a bunch of riddles where you get a prize, he's going to win the prize. You know, he's going to win, he's going to get the girl. Like, everything happens, and guess what? It happens exactly how you think it's going to happen.
He's just he's gonna struggle in the beginning, overcome the hurdle, and rinse and repeat.
The biggest surprise potentially of the entire book is just that his friend turns out to be a girl.
Well, that's the surprise, Keith.
And that's like it? Like, that's the closest thing to a surprise.
Wait, that's not even a surprise because you're on virtual reality. Yeah, and everyone on the internet
is like...
is
that someone's going to be a gender switch.
Yeah, like that's the joke, is that there's no girls on the internet. They're all just guys pretending to be girls.
Or in this case, the opposite. But still,
you know what I mean. It's like
that's the most surprising thing in the entire book, and it's not surprising.
No, like it's such a boring
there's
trope.
two things that happen in this thing that are setting up the ending, and both times I was like, oh fuck, I know the ending now, like just immediately.
Okay.
So kudos for setting it up, at least, I guess. One is that in the Oasis, they set up the idea that there are unique relics, which is like, picture ultra rare items like in WoW and stuff like that that are one of a kind and everything, but they're one of a kind, and that one person, period, has it in the entire game.
Okay.
And they're like not like a piece of equipment, but like a special object that does a special thing, and that's like what it does. Like there's
all right,
and like there's one that can track people and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna give that to a random player.
Well, it tracks them in the game.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
like I'm gonna give that to a random player so they can't.
Yeah, you get them from like a unique quest or something like that, or they go up for sale because like sometimes people will get one, they'll put it up for sale to make money off of it and stuff like that.
And the money that they earn in Oasis is like real money.
Yeah.
Okay. Diablo Marketplace.
So what happens is they set up that there's one relic that could blow up an entire sector. And we were talking about like a sector, like as in like in space, like just all of it's just blown up, and like everyone in that area dies.
Like real life dies?
Not real life dies. The character gets wiped and they're back to level 1 because apparently this game has permadeath. By the way,
it's an MMO.
Yeah, with permadeath. Which is not a terrible idea inherently?
Is this just a shitty nostalgia Sword Art Online without the restriction of being stuck there?
So here's the other thing that happens.
Okay.
Is there's a scene like the Scott Pilgrim movie where the main character gets a 1-up at some point. And it's like kind of hand waved away, like it just kind of comes out of nowhere and then it goes away and they don't talk about it, like they're trying to be sneaky.
Yeah, in your head you're like, okay,
guess
so you can
what?
die once.
At the end of the thing, everyone blows up, but the character has a 1-up. So in the wreckage of everyone being gone, he gets to go win the game. That's the ending of the book. Because it was so cleverly set up in a way that wasn't like fucking neon sign saying this is how it ends. I was really like, yeah, it's gonna blow up at the end of the thing, obviously. Otherwise, why would you set that up? And only that, basically. And
also, does the sector just come back?
The planets don't go away. Everyone just dies, and all their ships and everything.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
It's like just immediately you know how this is gonna end.
Yeah.
But it's just never satisfying. And by the way, there are like. This guy is so fucking, like... one of my favorite videos right now is that was it Ready Player One for Girls, that video? Did you watch that?
No.
Because that's fantastic. It's just... The person... What she's trying to do is she's trying to show the audience of the book what it sounds like if it's not full of things they like. So instead of being a bunch of 80s boy media, it's a bunch of 80s girl media, like My Little Pony and stuff like that. And so all she does is just replace all the names with other names.
Like Josie and the Pussycats.
Yeah,
and
it just highlights like how... Because once you're not being like distracted by think of this now, think of this now, think of this now, Back to the Future, DeLorean, lightsabers.
Yeah.
If you're not thinking about the stuff because you're like, what the fuck is she even talking about? What's 9 candles? And like that shit's happening, then you just realize, oh, this whole chapter is just like a fucking list.
Yeah.
It's just like, and he's like, I'm not a dilettante. I'm not a poser. I went all in. I've seen the Japanese and English cuts of this. I've watched the Star Wars trilogy 27,000 times. Like, he's just like, for pages at a time, talking about how much media he's consumed. Mm-hmm. And that's his character.
But it's only media that's relevant to...
But he's not punished for it. Like, this is not an unhealthy thing for him to do.
It is, because
this isn't a problem.
He had to get
He gets
shape.
all of the money and becomes one of the most powerful people in the real world by the end of this book. Because he's, like, obsessing over, like, Saved by the Bell and shit like that, and watching every episode and memorizing it to the point where he lives, like, that far in. And it's like, I read a book after this.
That's good. You should probably do that.
That recontextualized it in a way that made this even darker.
Okay.
Because I read Turtles All the Way Down by John Green.
All right.
And like many John Green books, it's vague. They often have autobiographical elements where it's not him in the story, but he's right what you know and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like The Fault in Our Stars was about like the This Star Won't Go Out Foundation and like their friend that actually died from the disease that's in the book and stuff like that, and he's processing those emotions in the form of a book and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In Turtles All the Way Down, he deals with his own demons because he has a mental problem where he has thought spirals, where he has like abusive, problematic thought spirals where he literally can't escape his own mind sometimes, and it interferes with his ability to function as a human being and stuff like that. And so he wrote a book about that, and and then you go back to Ready Player One, and you're like, this character is the same as the character that's in Turtles All the Way Down, except it's good. apparently. Like, whereas like in Turtles All the Way Down, it's like destroying their life and leads to like hospital visits and shit like that because everything's falling apart.
I mean,
this person, their horrible obsession is rewarded, and turns out they were right all along. And it's like, it's such a horrible message to all the people that like have toxic thoughts or do the wrong things in their life, that instead of shaking them or questioning what they're doing or just having any possible push that maybe what they're doing isn't the best way to conduct their life, you just give them a nice comfort blanket that they were right all along. And then you just put that on there, and you make billions of dollars off of it, and then you just fucking let them ruin their lives.
I think my favorite part is is his biography for Ernest Cline. Ernest Cline is a screenwriter, spoken word artist, and full-time geek. He lives in Austin, Texas, with his wife, their daughter, and a large collection of classic video games. Ready Player One is his first novel. I'm glad that we mentioned he had a large collection of classic video games.
Speaking of mega nerds writing their first novel, The Martian, This Is Not.
Named one of the best books of 2011 by Entertainment Weekly, San Francisco Chronicle, Village Voice, Chicago Sun-Times, IO9.com, The Onion's AV Club.
God damn it.
The Onion's AV Club?
Oh, do you not know what the AV Club is?
Isn't that their joke?
No.
Oh.
The AV Club is a real website that actually is, like, reviewing media and everything like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually go there sometimes to read, like, just to like process what happens in an episode of a television show. Sometimes if you want to hear somebody else talk about it, like there'll be like that night will be like a relatively decent length article of somebody like talking about the episode.
Oh, I thought you meant
not like Talking Dead. Like we're like, we got the staff on board and what was it like to play that character. They're all like talking about like the story arcs and like things like that. Like it's.
I thought
like
they meant like the Onion.
No,
and I was like,
it's the same company.
Did you?
The AV Club is part of the Onion Company, but it's not their satire news, fake news.
That would have been hilarious if they did not realize
fake
that.
News as a positive review would be fantastic. No.
Well, there's no quote from the Onion AV Club on here.
No.
So
they couldn't butcher it enough to make it fit.
Yeah, there's only USA Today, Huffington Post.
Like the front review in particular is amazing because it just says enchanting ... with no phrase or context. So it's like it doesn't fit together in any meaningful way of like, what was enchanting? It's like, where'd you clip that word from? It says enchanting, then ... then later on he says Willy Wonka meets the Matrix somewhere else in the article, apparently.
I bet enchanting was like, I read a much more enchanting book previously, before Ready Player One.
And then Ready Player One.
or it could have just been the end of a sentence.
Like, write what you know, and sure, like, figure out ways to work with this stuff, but like, The Martian takes his obsession over all these interesting little details and turns them into a narrative with like scenes and set pieces and stakes and stuff like that. Like there's a great part where like an airlock blows off and he's stuck inside of just a tube that's isolated from the rest of his setup, and like he can't reach the rest of his base, but his suit is compromised and he can't physically get out of the airlock, but also the airlock's leaking. And so like one of his solutions at one point is to take some hair and burn his hair so that he can watch the smoke to find where the leak is, so he can plug the leak. So at least just because he has like 17 problems that are layered on each other that all have to be solved. But the first problem is that the airlock itself that he's trapped inside of is currently leaking the only air he has. So he needs to make a tiny fire to follow the smoke to find where it's going to find the air leak to like try to patch it. And then the next 6 problems get solved. I'm like, that's what's fun about The Martian. This is like, remember the DeLorean? Because this entire book is member berries. Non-stop. Just non-stop. Like, full-on lists like, remember Full House? Remember the DeLorean? Oh, I like the DeLorean. Remember lightsabers? And it just keeps going and keeps going.
That's great.
Like, every time he goes to a new location, he's going to explain what all the avatars are around him that he sees that are just things he knows from media, and they're not there for a reason. They're not going to serve any purpose in the story.
It's that kind of thing where you say like, oh, the main character was walking and like walked past
just name dropping.
In front of the building he needed to approach was a Chun-Li standing there waiting to greet him. It happened to be his friend Tom. Like,
that's exactly what the book sounds like.
Yeah.
Like that's not.
Oh, I can imagine.
Not an exaggeration.
I can imagine because this movie or this book sounds like nothing. Like, this is right here. This book sounds 100% like this guy knew exactly what it took to get a movie. You put a bunch of products in there that you know people are going to clamor to have. You write it about a group of people who are very easy to convince.
I'm not even joking. I'm looking for a page that has a lot of capital letters in it because that would be like titles of things. Just so I can find one of his like rants.
There's one in the back.
Those are just actual.
That's the Oasis.
That's just a caps lock word. That's not helpful enough.
But yeah, it's such a normal. it's such a stereotypical writing style that I've seen before, where you say things and you're hoping that the things you're saying are like marketable enough to people. You got to say like all these things that people know, but you got to say it in a way that's positive. Like we were talking about last podcast, was like you got to be overly positive about everything so no one can ever be upset. And it's like...
I glanced over at the bulky Zenith television and the Atari 2600 connected to it. The simulated wood grain of the Atari's plastic casing perfectly matched the simulated wood grain of the television cabinet on the living room walls. Beside the Atari was a shoebox containing 9 game cartridges: Combat, Space Invaders, Pitfall, Kaboom, Star Raiders, The Empire Strikes Back, Star Master, Yar's Revenge, and E.T. Gunters had attached a large amount of significance to this absence of adventure, and the game Halliday was seen playing the very same Atari at the end of Anorak's invitation. People had searched the entire Middletown simulation for a copy of it, but then it appeared like it just fucking goes on. Like everything is about media all the fucking time.
What?
The carpet was a horrendous mustard color, so was the wallpaper, but the walls were almost entirely covered with movie and rock band posters. Real Genius, War Games, Tron, Pink Floyd, Devo, Rush. The bookshelf stood just inside the door, overflowing with science fiction and fantasy paperbacks, old titles I'd read, of course. Like, he always says in science like that, like, of course I know all this shit, and I haven't memorized. It's like, I can't.
First off, why did you feel the need to tell me what all those Atari games were? If they were not relevant at all to the current thing at hand? Like, was he looking for an Atari game of a specific order? Did the Atari games that he saw, which one of them was E.T., so I know this question's a lie, did the Atari games have any, like, purpose as to, like, figuring out who somebody is, or, like, what their kind of preference and tastes are? I don't know why you would... Same with the movie poster, or, like, the movie and rock band posters. Like, why did you need to list those? Who literally owns a movie poster of War Games and puts it on their wall? That's a weird thing to do. Like the War Game movie poster wasn't actually that great. If you remember it.
The funny thing is that people are all like, it's like they'll say like you'll get more if you know what all the references are, but the references are literally he's just saying the name of the thing over and over again.
It's so you can visualize,
and it generally doesn't come up. Yeah, you're just supposed to picture it, and that's it.
Yeah.
But like you can literally just word replace all of it with like 80s stuff, 80s stuff, 80s stuff, 80s stuff, and the story stays the same.
You don't even have to replace it with 80s stuff. You could say like a band that you grew up with, like it's full of posters of Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears and that one Toy Story movie I really liked. Like you could just say whatever you want.
An entire challenge is dedicated to 2112 by Rush, one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
And I got nothing out of it. Because nothing about it, how it's used in here is interesting. And it's like a major set piece.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's what I'm saying, is that he wrote this book with such a meticulous style, especially after hearing how he wrote that
Yeah,
line,
where he just lists them.
Where the way he lists things is you can just pick out whatever you want and replace it with whatever you want.
Yeah, which is what that other video does to make fun of it.
Steven Spielberg could literally...
I'm sorry, but you literally, as you were saying that, I turned to his name.
He's in the book? Great.
You must be stoned, I shouted. Lady Hawk was directed by Richard fucking Donner. The Goonies? Superman the movie? You're saying that guy sucks? I don't care if Spielberg directed it. It's a chick flick disguised as a sword and sorcery picture. The only genre film with less balls is probably freaking Legend. Anybody who's actually seen Lady Hawk is a bona fide USDA choice pussy. So yeah, I literally turned directly to Spielberg's name while you were saying his name.
First off, that's really interesting happenstance. Secondly, the USDA does not grade vaginas.
I'll give them credit for something.
Yeah.
That's one of the rare times they're talking about the content of the media instead of just saying the name of it. He's criticizing a movie at the very least. Literally says that anyone that likes the Spielberg movie is a USDA choice pussy.
Is he going to keep that in? I mean,
it's a Spielberg directed movie.
If he changes that line, I'm gonna call bullshit.
That's fantastic. Well, I mean, I think he changed massive parts of it. Also, I don't think the movie's gonna say things like pussy, because I think it's probably gonna be rated like the most advertiser friendly rating they can get.
E?
No, E for everyone.
I thought it's a video game.
It's almost got enough video game to just be rated as one.
He wrote that in such a way that you can hot swap anything you want in there, and I bet
it feels like a masturbatory like YouTube comment that's showing about how much they know about the thing you're doing.
Oh yeah,
like the wall, like whenever you criticize any part of the story of a particular game, especially that has a fan following, and you get like the multi-page wall of text about the breakdown of how much smarter they are about this particular media than you are.
Yes,
that's what this book reads as.
I know that oh so well.
Seriously, if you want a book that's like this but good, just read The Martian. And if you read that already, I guess move on to Artemis. It's a little less like that, but it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, the Artemis has way more story than Martian does because it has characters.
Oops.
Well, I mean, like,
Martian's just about one guy.
Yeah,
so
like the Martian is there's a guy stuck here, and then there's people that are trying to get him back
stuck here
that have way less screen time.
Yeah.
But in Artemis, they're on a moon base the whole time.
Okay.
So it's like there's characters interacting. Yeah. So there's shockingly large gaps between the technical parts of the book because of the fact that story is actually happening. I'm like, oh, story.
If you like,
interesting.
If you like technical stuff, like say you liked how The Martian was and how descriptive it was, but you're somebody who says books are for losers, well, you're a loser. Secondly, you should watch Space Bros. It's an anime about people trying to be astronauts. And it has a lot of really interesting technical garble, but also characters that have personality. And a lot of them, not just three. And two of them
not just three personalities.
Yeah, not just three, and two of them have to be
the last two
women.
Characters have to share. Yeah. They do give up on giving characters personalities in this book, by the way.
They'd probably just become
I'm not even
like
joking,
pieces, right?
Because there's three main characters, but there's actually 5 characters. But the last 2 characters are introduced as a couple. Like,
so they don't count as people anymore.
They're like brothers that are introduced as like a couple of characters, as if they have the same personality and story.
Oh. And
they slightly expand on it way later in the book, but mostly, yeah, it's like they functionally are like, you say it's Shoto and someone else. When you say the 2 names back to back, it's like as if that's just the name of one person. It's just like my name is Anne Marie.
Oh.
like as if we're just one person. Is like what functionally the book treats them as for a while.
Huh.
It actually has a fair bit of like, this is Slipknot, the guy that can climb anything. It's like, wow, you're not putting effort into that character. It's almost like they're gonna die. And then they die. Like, oh no, that developed character died. Sure would have been interesting if the best friend died, the one you're supposed to care about.
Yeah.
They have development and spend time in the movie, but no, let's kill that guy. His name was that name, and that's his character.
His entire character trait is this one ability he's going to perform for you right now, and if it doesn't work, we've got nothing else for this guy. It didn't work. He's gone.
God, the introduction of Slipknot was such an afterthought in Suicide Squad that it might have well been ADR'd in afterwards. Like they forget, like it feels like they forgot to introduce him, and they just like showed a random scene of him getting out of a van, and then it's like. Then, like, you just hear a microphone play over that of, like, the guy actor 6 months later saying, "This guy's Slipknot. The guy can climb anything. He can do all the climbing with his ropes and shit. Don't forget about the explodey collar." And then he blows up. Because that's what the movie works.
Well, he was just yeah.
So, it's been an hour.
So that's
talked about that being over, but we're not done yet.
What? There's still more?
So we're done.
Jesus Christ.
We're done with the problem with this. So we're done with the story. We're done with the story. We're done with, like, basically the book itself. I want to talk about the Oasis.
Okay.
The Oasis itself.
The VR world.
Because there's dark shit there too. And that's what that's what my entire drive here, I was thinking about the Oasis. Okay. I was breaking down what the Oasis is and how dark that shit is. And, like, this movie should not be celebrated by gamers. Because the Oasis is the worst video game ever made. Both on it, it's not fun.
Yeah, but gamers don't know that.
And it's unethical.
Unethical?
The Oasis, if you celebrate Ready Player One, you are celebrating, like, loot boxes and Battlefield and EA and shit like that.
Those things that we all like and enjoy, which is why we
the Oasis is a pay-to-win piece of garbage filled with commercials and advertisements.
So it's basically that one episode of Black Mirror, but worse because you have freedom.
First you have the problem that the Oasis, despite the fact that it apparently has quests and stories to do and gameplay and stuff like that.
An MMO where there's commercials? I would be fucking furious.
Well, what I mean, like, no, I mean the game is commercials. Because it doesn't have any content that's its own. The Oasis is so shamelessly full of stuff that when you go places, you'll go do like the Firefly planet and crap like that. And it's just throwing other people's media at you all the time. Okay. All the time. So there's no cohesion to it. There's no, like, the Oasis as a universe is not like Azeroth. Like, it's not a world. So it's like Azeroth is a place where things can happen in it within a certain rule set, and these races exist, and magic happens.
It's like Kingdom Hearts?
No.
Well, no.
Because Kingdom Hearts also has a world and a universe, and like the Heartless, and like the whatever the organization is. Kingdom Hearts, like, I don't know what's happening in Kingdom Hearts, but someone thinks they do.
I'm saying, like, the way the worlds are set up, where it's like, this is the Tarzan world. This is it's like, so it's like that,
every piece of media has like a world or a whole galaxy to itself.
Ooh, galaxy. And what, the Star Trek galaxy?
So you're not. So despite the fact that it's an MMORPG, you're not playing a character in a story that does things.
You're playing whatever context. Random avatar you want.
You're playing modules. You're playing random character. You're playing garbage. You're playing Mario Maker levels essentially except they're branded under specific things.
So it's like a company made a Mario Maker level, but it had like all of their own.
The entire game is Skylanders, kind of. Where it's just like it's all branded toys is what the game is.
Ooh, boy. That's fun.
But it's also pay to win. Because part of the premise is that Parzival, the main character, he is poor as fuck. He lives in this, the cover of the book.
All right.
He lives in garbage land of garbage, so he can't afford his own Oasis kit. That's how poor he is.
What's an Oasis? Oh, like
the actual VR headset, the HTC Vive or whatever.
Okay.
Like, he can't afford that. So what he has instead is he has a like provisional like school provided one.
Why would the school? Oh, right, because you're telling me
we talked about this before. It's like when it's like how it's like when the government decides certain things are a human right, like plumbing or something like that, and so it's like bare minimum. If you can't afford it, then we'll give it to you until you can afford it and stuff like that. That was a big thing. Is like when people talked about like the Obama phone, is because people were getting free phones from Obama. Even and then that was amazing because my dad was like, Reagan would never stand for this. I'm like, all right, let's find out what the Obama phone is. I've never heard of this, and I looked into it. I'm like, oh, Reagan started it. That was fun. But like, yeah,
I don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about Reagan.
I just feel like at some point phones were decided to be a thing that was provided by the government.
They're a required commodity
for a normal society functioning. Like, we decided that no, everyone should have this so that we can work, and we're like trying to get that to be the internet at some point. It's like everyone should just get the internet.
Yes.
So in this setting, everyone has the internet, but everyone has Oasis access.
Well, yeah, everyone has VR basically.
Yeah,
they have to have VR,
and that's because one of their cost saving measures for like school and stuff like that is
no buildings, all VR.
Yeah, there's no more schools. Or at least, I think there might still be some schools for like rich people that can afford it. I think private
schools can still exist, but government doesn't pay for schools to exist anymore.
I think the better part of the world has private schools, but if you're going to government school, then you go to it in the Oasis, and if you can't afford an Oasis thing, then you get provided one. Which, once again, this is the first chapter of the book, which is full of all the best parts.
Man, this is a crazy.
The setting's good. The setting is good, and they do nothing with it. What is that?
I don't know.
It's headphones or something.
That is a crazy money making scheme because you're like, well, now the government will buy headsets from us to give to kids, and then which is
honestly how corporations and the government interact in real life anyway already.
It's just like it's such a scammy thing already.
Or even just parts of like how corn is handled and like just so many weird things. Weird. So because he has no money, he has a headset that teleports him like directly to like it just spawns him on the school planet basically.
Okay.
Where he can do his schooling. But it's a real plot point because it's actually how he solves the first puzzle is because he's stuck on the planet that happens to have the first key on it. Mm-hmm. And so he finally realizes, oh shit, it's been here the whole time because he's been looking out to the stars and stuff like that. He can't leave that planet.
Because he's on a provisional headset?
No, because going anywhere costs money.
Oh!
Having transport costs money. Going on like commute routes costs money.
Public transportation that costs money in a VR world.
Everything in the stuff costs money. As far as I can tell, the skins cost money, the costumes cost money. So like, we're not just talking about. So like, it's worse than VR chat is the issue here.
A VR chat, you can make your own.
In VR chat, you're like, I'm Alphonse from FMA. I put it in the 3D. I ripped it from that one shonen fighting game and ripped it in here or something.
Yeah.
In this thing, you're paying for officially branded microtransactions for all these costumes and all these things. And Parzival has no money, so he can't leave the home planet. He can't wear any gear. He's playing as Minecraft Steve, essentially, like the generic model, because he can't afford to look any different. Like, he can't play the game. So it's like the worst game ever made. And we're supposed to be celebrating this? Like, oh my god, it's getting a video game movie. It's made by everything that EA fucking, like, just has the best dreams about. Because even they can't do this kind of bullshit.
I mean, that's such a next level thing where, like, you literally created
it's a terrible video game.
You created, like, an anti-poverty video game.
It's both not a good game and unethical. And that nothing that you can do in it sounds appealing. Like, but also all this, in order to do that, you have to, like, you just pour money into it.
The only nice part about this entire game is that it's free. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't pay $60 for this game, but, like, okay, but you got downloaded a free game and you're stuck on one place with nothing to do except learn school, and you paid, like the
video game sounds like hell. Like, he can't afford to leave his school, and that what he also has to worry about is he has to have a return trip too. So, like, he has to work, like, he would hitch a ride with his friend, and his friend would drop him off on another planet, and he could try to grind out, like, a level or something, but he'd have to get back in time, or he could get like expelled from school and stuff like that.
Which he would lose the headset.
Which, a school that exists in the virtual reality, so it's like, couldn't
they just teleport him back in?
The idea that you can't get back to your school in this fake world because you can't afford the fake commute is like, and that affects your real life. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This is like a life-ruining hellscape. So the book's already a bad story, poorly told, with a slightly interesting setting, but the game in it is a nightmare, horrible, horrible, horrible game, and no one should be celebrating this just because it has Chun-Li in it or something, because that's how they get you. That's how they trick you.
Well, that's again, I hate to be that guy. That's why no one likes gamers. They're all stupid.
Because they care more about surface level bullshit instead of the actual substance.
You have, like, the
of the
weird
story.
Gamers have, like, this weird, like, the weirdest.
Their brain just turns off, and they somehow convince themselves that Batman vs Superman's watchable.
They're just
because it's Batman and Superman.
Yeah,
who cares if it's not your Batman and not your Superman, and it's Zack Snyder and it's Nightmare.
I mean, it goes back to the whole thing of, like, all the drama that's ever happened that involves gamers is always stuff where someone goes like, this is bad. She saw us bad, kill her! And it's like, but she has no impact. This has no impact to like, someone saying, hey, I think Overwatch is kind of poopy, is like, Blizzard's not gonna go, shut it down! The guy said it's poopy! Like, Blizzard doesn't care. They made the game. It's already out. They're not gonna change it. Blizzard's not gonna retroactively go back and be like, oh, just erase Diablo from existence. That was a bad idea. People don't like demons. But, like, no, it's there forever. No, like, Steven Spielberg didn't erase E.T., he just buried it. But you can't, like, but the game still exists. And no one can just change how that exists just by saying things. Or something isn't good just because there's references to things you like in it. It's like, you have to think a little bit deeper, going like, okay, cool. Like, again, this happened, like, when you buy games on PC or something, it's like, oh, if you pre-order now, it comes with a skin from this other game. You know, like, Sonic Forces did that, where it's like, here's all the skins for other Sega games. Or the Final Fantasy 13.
Sonic Forces is so much better now that they put the Persona 5 stuff in it. It's just wearing the skin of a better game, like it's its flesh.
And like, I remember I
am Persona.
The new Final Fantasy that came out on PC. It's like, you can get a Gordon Freeman skin. I was like, what the fuck does this even make sense?
Skyrim's fun now.
Yeah,
Breath of the Wild came out, but instead of making a new Elder Scrolls, we just put Zelda. We put Link in the Skyrim. Now you can play as a Link skin. That's almost as good as making something, right?
And that's the thing, is like, but gamers will take it. They'll, like, absorb it and go like, oh my, I got to have it.
I'm going to buy Skyrim for the 12th time. I have to have them all. And I have an entire shelf that just says Skyrim over and over again, but the logos change. Someone has that.
And one of them isn't a disc. It's just a cartridge. That's the more impressive thing I want to admit, is that Skyrim is on a CD for everything else, and then the Switch is on a cartridge. And you have to think, like, so, like, some weird thing of, like, we moved past cartridges, and then we're like, just CD, and then Nintendo's like,
amazing if they kept remaking it for so long that it's original, and then the final copies are both on cartridges, and it just goes back.
That's what I was hoping. That'd be great. But so there's no. I get what you're saying about, like, it's stupid. It's stupid that, like, a surface level
I mean, Batman vs Superman is a surprisingly apt comparison to where like we finally got a movie that was Batman versus Superman, but they replaced both characters with different characters. Like that's not Superman.
No,
and that's not Batman. He blatantly murders people like a lot. Like he runs people over with his car and like just ends them and shit. Like it's horrible. And it's like great. Like you could like tear your brain in half in the cognitive dissonance in order to force yourself to to think you like it if it's that important to you that the movie's good, which people just do that. They let their fanboy take over everything, but you're just being manipulated by corporations that don't care about you. So when they make a bad thing, it's just bad.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if it's wearing a skin of a thing you once loved.
I mean,
so like the trailer shows the Iron Giant, it shows a fucking Gundam up in the sky, light shining off of it, reflecting and doing a pose, full screen Gundam. I'm like, oh man, is the Iron Giant gonna punch a Gundam? It's like, no, someone's gonna take two toys and go.
Yeah,
but with like expensive CG.
That's the thing is like it just unfortunately that's kind of the you're gonna reenact it right now. You know what the irony is? That's literally the plot of Smash.
But at least Smash Bros. Is a video game where you play the game.
No, but I'm saying like the plot of Smash is that Master Hand is a child playing with toys and mashing them together. Which
also,
is
the
what
visuals are going to make about as much sense as these.
Yeah,
because these don't fit together, and that's what all the footage of Ready Player One kind of looks like too.
Yeah.
Because these things don't fit together. I mean, Sans is made of squares. And supposedly people have confirmed Sans is in the game and is in Ready Player One. You know, the pixel skeleton from Undertale. Is he going to be meta? Is he... I'm sure that everything happening in the movie totally fits with how Sans works as a character.
Sans also isn't like...
Sans is probably going to shoot somebody with a Gatling gun.
But Sans isn't like a fighting person, more or less? Like, because it depends on...
Or however fighting works in Undertale. Like, I can't even imagine what that looks like in person.
Because, what it's like, Sans just summons skulls around him, they start shooting beams out of their mouths?
I'm still not entirely sure what it's supposed to look like in its own universe.
Yeah.
Because we obviously have an abstract thing going on, where I'm like, I don't even know what this means to them, necessarily.
I don't know. It's... I mean, I would like to think Papyrus literally walks around with a plate of spaghetti, but, in real life, that's probably not practical. But
so, will the movie be good? I don't know.
I would probably say no.
Steven Spielberg might change fucking everything. All I know is that people are excited about it for the wrong reasons.
Will it be more coherent than the book?
It's a garbage video game full of garbage references that don't mean anything, and that's what people are like being sold on.
Yeah,
and if you're those people, you're wrong.
I'm tired of that.
If you're like just excited about the next Spielberg movie, then sure,
yeah, whatever.
Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be really boring. I feel like I forget every Spielberg movie after a few years.
Like, sure, I still remember a girl like doing gymnastics and kicking a velociraptor through a window.
Oh shit!
I'll never forget that.
Was Jurassic Park 2 Spielberg? Oh god,
I think it was. Yeah,
it's all I can ever remember.
I don't think he did Lost World.
That was one of those really awkward. That was one of those really terrible setups where they're always like, "I did gymnastics," and it's like the ending is like, "I'm gonna kick a dinosaur with my gymnastics."
I thought it was more funny that the dinosaur was taken aback by this weird creature swinging on a pole.
He just stood
there as if
I will line up with this window as if it is a set piece.
And it's like you're acting as if a velociraptor has never encountered a
monkey,
just anything that is above it. Like it's never encountered something that is coming at it, but from above.
Small flying dinosaurs.
Yeah,
in the same movies.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's weird, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's. I'm not gonna go out and be like it's gonna be trash, but I'm gonna.
It's not a guarantee because he's Spielberg is one of those directors that has the self-respect to actually make a thing.
Yeah,
like a lot.
I don't know though. I mean,
like there's
Indiana Jones wasn't that great.
No, I'm not saying it'll be good. I'm saying that there's directors out there when they're doing an adaptation that will just try to do the adaptation like directly.
Oh yeah,
but something will always be changed no matter what.
Yeah,
and I feel like once something's not sacred, it's kind of like everything's not sacred. Like you can kind of just let it all go. Just let it happen.
Just the book can because it doesn't.
It's like how
because nothing in the book is sacred. It's all set pieces. It's all just things to say.
It's like when you hear about like the best when you hear about some of the best movies ever made, supposedly, and then you hear that like it's based on a book, but then like they're nothing to do with each other, like The Shining or Shawshank Redemption are just like massive departures.
Yeah,
because like, you start with the launching off point, and then you just go fucking run with it because you're a director with some kind of vision and actually want to make you have a thing you want to make. So like you never know when Spielberg he might do something like that, as opposed to like the more cynical ones where they make like 80% of the right thing and then change some things because they couldn't fit the same way, but then, like, there's a bunch of things where, like, well, that makes more sense if you read the book. And, like, people are explaining why a bunch of the movie doesn't make sense or doesn't work or has bad pacing or pointless characters because it's like, well, it was in the book. It's like, so?
Yeah, why is it
We don't need to have all 12 hobbits. I mean, dwarves. They don't have personalities or characters and they never do anything. There could be 4 of them. It's fine.
Yeah.
You could make the Hobbit with, like, 4 dwarves and it'd be fine. But they're like, but the book! It's
Let me tell you a secret. There's no law where we have to follow the book. That's all you. You random people say that's what we have to do, and no one...
So the more he diverges, the better in this book's case.
And
it has no substance or thing to latch on to.
I mean, I would argue that in most cases, diverging from the source material is your best bet half the time.
Yeah.
And, like, it could turn out worse than the book, but then you still have the book to go back to.
Which is what... and this is even what we talked about before with the... I talked about, like, the governor stuff with Walking Dead.
Yeah.
It's like... Walking Dead changes shit like crazy, but for some reason they feel the need to still do every major arc the same way. Yeah, so even if all the characters are different and all the setting is different and all the situation is different, the big bullet point plot things will happen the same way.
Even if there's not setups for that?
Yeah. Even if it contradicts the story.
Oh, yeah.
And like that's when you're wrong. It's like that's why I say once something's not sacred, nothing's sacred.
Yeah.
Like just fucking like if you're already diverging, then just do what works for your new diverged story. Because there's gonna be a rippling.
That's fine.
There's gonna be like a rippling butterfly effect through the entire story the moment you change anything. And you need to just go with that instead of fighting it, or it ruins the movie.
I mean, Game of Thrones does that in just how it sets up its own episodes, which is very different from how the book is set up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the book isn't written...
The book is like, you want to spend 4 hours with one character? Because that's how it's written.
And so, like, and Game of Thrones changes its pacing up, and you know what? No one seemed to get upset about it.
Nope. Because they only got upset when everyone started teleporting. Have you heard about that? Because... And it's a little tough because like now in Game of Thrones, like it's time for all the major shit to happen,
and people just got to be where they got to
be. We're in the final couple of seasons, and then like the wars are happening, and everything's like it's like this is supposed to be like the deciding stuff where it all comes down and everything.
Yeah,
and so like you have these awkward moments where it's like Dragonstone is on like the opposite side of the entire continent from like the Wall. But like we need to get the dragons to the Wall this episode so the story can happen. But although there was a warning sign that was going to happen, though, because the season finale before the teleporting started happening, Varys somehow he started in Essos with Daenerys and everyone, but then he met with somebody in Westeros. But then they show a scene of Daenerys crossing the ocean, and Varys is on the boat with her. And I'm like, you went back to Essos to go back to Westeros? Like, you're ping-ponging 17 times? I'm like, how much time happened between those jump cuts? I don't understand.
Isn't it, like, a long-ass trip?
It's an ocean. People used to die.
But I mean, like, isn't it, like, a couple-week trip to do all that?
It's kind of a big deal. Like, and it happened in the span of, like, 30 seconds in the show. And you're like, I'm like, wait, you spot him on the boat, and you're like, was he supposed to be on the boat? Like, did they forget to CG him out when they realized they were going to send him to Westeros already? But but since then the show has just been teleporting nonstop. Like the map doesn't matter anymore, which is crazy. It's crazy because like you didn't make it far at all, right? You watched the first season and stopped?
No, I watched 3 seasons.
So did you reach it? So you reached when like Jaime and
what's his face were walking across, and what's her face were walking across the entire.
Am I forgetting her name? Brienne. Yeah, Brienne and Jaime.
And they're walking. Yeah,
like Brienne and Jaime crossing the land, or Tyrion and Catelyn crossing the land is like a season of the show.
It took forever.
Like that was the basis of the show, was the time it takes to travel and everything. So and that was when all the character stuff would happen, and you have these bonds between specific characters, and it makes future things more meaningful throughout the rest of the show, even if they're never alone together again.
He like literally lose a hand on that journey?
Yeah, like cool shit happens in those things.
Like it wouldn't happen if he just teleported.
So like on one hand, it's like, oh fuck, that's just gone now in Game of Thrones. But also they do have to resolve shit. But also it's like, this problem of like how do you resolve all this shit when your story normally works that way, I think is why George R. R. Martin never writes books. Like it just hasn't made any, because I don't think he knows what to do now.
I think he just ran out of interesting food to eat, so he doesn't have anything to write about. He literally has eaten every type of food on the planet and thus has no new food to write about.
Game of Thrones is still a good show. It's just it's not the same show anymore, and that's rough.
It's also been on for a very long time, so to some degree,
it's like season 7
quality doesn't.
Season 7 of short seasons too.
It's one of those things where like quality doesn't always go consistently up with time. Like there will be a point where like quality and time reach a good cataclysm, and then it's like, okay, well, one of these is like gonna start dipping now.
It's also just like it's astronomically more challenging.
Well, yeah, there's so many more things going on at one
setting up
time.
A cool world with interesting characters and a good way of telling a story and all that other stuff is like, that's hard, sure, but that's so much easier than also resolving that.
Yeah.
Like, so many universes have cool starts, and then you have to figure out, like, oh, well, these characters die, and that stuff happens to that person, and the movie Serenity happens, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you like that character? He's dead now, stuff like that. And, like, all these things are like, is that the way to go? I don't know. It's like, I
mean, that's, I appreciate when there's, like, series or anything that's willing to cut itself off at a certain point. Say, like, here is, like, I'm not setting a hard limit, but I'm saying I would like to be done at this point. And it's like, those are nice limits because you at least tell yourself, if possible, please wrap it up here. And you try to work towards wrapping it up rather than working towards keeping the status quo, which I feel like Martin kind of did at some point. Like, he reached that point where, like, his books started getting really popular, and he's like, now I just need to maintain, like, things gotta, like, because I feel like there's some parts where
I think for the rest of the books, pretty consistently, like people are dying off and major changes are happening and kingdoms are falling and like it's progressing towards an ending.
Yeah, but I feel like he started like throwing people like on a like chopping block real quick. Where he's like, well,
the third book is the best book, the most enjoyable book to go through, and has all the big things happen. It has both of the weddings that people say by color names. And it was so it really says a lot about how things went, is that book was so eventful, they had to split it into 2 entire seasons of the show. Yeah. Where the first 2 books were each of 1 season. Then the next 2 books were 1 season of the show. That's... Yeah. Because, like, he just doesn't... I don't think he knows where to go with a lot of it, but also, like, just the stories in the book are so padded and so slow to develop. Yeah. Like,
it'll be interesting when he doesn't finish it.
I want to say that, like...
What do you do? Is someone going to ghostwrite the ending of...
Well, he did a thing that was, like, an odd choice, which is he decided that books 4 and 5 were going to take place simultaneously. And so what he did is he split the characters into the separate books. Okay. Like, characters that don't interact with each other. Yeah. So that they do have separate stories anywhere, because that's how a lot of the book is always worked.
Yeah, but it's consistent, and, like... But you're supposed to read book 4, and then
be like... Book 4 is, like, Brienne and Cersei. Yeah. And, like, book 5 is, like, Arya and Tyrion and stuff like that. Like their stories are happening in parallel, but he literally just did some characters in one book and some characters in another book.
So many people that he just
juggle it that way. But the outcome was that whole season of Brienne going around and looking for Arya and Sansa and just trying to find any of the girls she promised to protect and stuff like that happens in the show. That was a whole book. And she fails. She never finds either of them. Like, she's just kind of going on Brienne adventures for an entire book. And they're not terrible, but I'm like, this is like, that's all you...
But that's the whole book.
I'm amazed by anyone who had to read these books when they were old and new. And, like, they finally got the 4th book and, like, oh, man, what's going to happen? And it's like, Brienne walked in the mud a lot. And then someone got mad at her and tried to stab her, because that happens a lot. And there was somebody with a bloody ear and blah, blah, blah. And where am I going to find Sansa? And it's like, it just keeps going.
And then it's like, oh, well, this is getting really interesting. I hope it doesn't end. And she never found Sansa.
Whereas
okay.
Like that storyline is way more enjoyable in the show, where it's just one of the parallel plot lines you're cutting between.
It's just a self-contained thing where you're like, oh, hey, there's Brienne. Yeah, what if she found those people?
The book,
nope. All right, bye.
In the book, you spend most of the book cutting between Brienne failing to find people and Cersei failing to lead a kingdom, basically. And, like, that's just... I think there was a third character. I don't know if it was Arya or who, but, like, that was, like...
But the point is that it was, like...
That's, like, all you got.
Yeah. I don't know, but media's bad a lot of times, and you just have to take the punches. I started doing Jessica Jones.
Oh yeah,
I started watching it. And
the beginning or the second one?
The beginning. I don't know.
I didn't know if you watched the first one back then, because that was years ago now.
Nope.
Like they have a weird thing with the Netflix shows where like a new season comes out whenever.
Yeah.
It's like basically every 6 months a Defenders season comes out, and you just don't know which one it'll be.
Okay.
So it was like what Daredevil season 1, and then I think it was Jessica Jones, Daredevil 2, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Defenders. Now Jessica Jones season 2. No, Punisher, then Jessica Jones season 2. That's been the release order, I believe. And it's just basically just the next Defenders series usually comes out every 6 months, and it's just wherever they landed next.
Well, yeah, watching through season 1 of Jessica Jones, I was like, this is really bad. I don't know how this got a second season. And, like, the main villain is the most boring thing ever. I was like, what is this? Like, the moment the first episode ended, and I was like, I really hope this bad guy isn't, like, one of those people who is slightly, what's the word? Is like, slightly omnipresent. Where, like, no matter what the main character does, he's always there, always watching, always knowing. Like, I would hate if that would be that's the main villain. Okay. And it's like, it's just...
You talking about the Purple Man?
Yeah. Where he's kind of like this, like, he just... I don't know, it's like, I guess maybe because...
I mean, he has the power to kind of infiltrate wherever he wants to go, because he can literally just tell people to tell him stuff.
Yeah.
Things like that.
So he's just like, that's what I'm saying, so he's like omnipresent, where he's just like, I need to know what Jessica is. Where's Jessica? And it's like, she's over here. Thank you. And he just leaves. It's like, what the fuck? This is like the...
Now die.
Yeah, it is like, this is the stupidest power ever. He just like, he can just have whatever he wants, technically. And I don't know why it matters to him that Jessica doesn't want to be with him. He's like so consumed by this fucking thing of like, I need Jessica. It's like, you could have literally anything. Your power is like amazing. I don't know why you care so much about a stupid girl who sucks at doing her job. Like, what do you want? And it's like, he's just like, I'm the Purple Man. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, bus dude. Like, I don't give a shit about your crap.
I think Jessica Jones is the best Defenders show.
Well, I don't watch the other Defenders show,
and I really
sure
like.
It is.
I think both seasons are fantastic.
I'm just saying,
I think that David Tennant was a cool villain, and the Purple Man worked very well for what he was supposed to be, as basically a rape metaphor.
I mean, I get his premise, but it's just a really annoying power.
I poured coffee on myself.
Because I'm looking at it through a superhero perspective. I'm like, you're just such...
I'm here to criticize references, which is why I'm wearing a Pyre shirt with Jardariel on it.
Okay.
Because I am a hypocrite.
It's... I don't know. But I did start watching it, and it's been a struggle to get through it. I've been, like, pushing myself really hard to just, like, I gotta finish... And the episodes aren't short.
No, most Netflix shows are actually an hour long.
Why are they an hour? I don't have an hour dedicated to your crap. Like, when anime is bad, it's only at least 30 minutes, and I can move on from it.
It's 20 minutes, right?
Oh, yeah, more like 25, 20 minutes. But no, fucking Jessica Jones is like a solid 49 minutes. Or 45
A lot of
minutes.
Netflix shows are... You'll regularly see Netflix shows that are above 60.
And it takes forever. Like, there'll be like points where I'm like, hurry up. Stop waiting. I know you have the time, but just stop. There's like scenes, like the scene where she's sitting there taking the photos in the first episode about like the guy at the bar, and I'm like, hurry up, stop. And she's like sitting there like falling asleep. I don't, just stop. Okay, what's gonna happen? Boo? Boo. Okay, hurry up already.
You can be a really interesting person when it comes to television in particular, just because you never... Like you never transitioned to like full hour shows.
I never did.
Which like around the time Sopranos or even Breaking Bad were becoming a big thing. Like all of television in America that isn't comedies and animation.
Yeah.
Like they made the jump
Yeah.
Like it used like once upon a time it used to just be like procedurals basically, where like the one weird show that was an hour long for some reason. Like CSI was
or it was the starting of a season.
Yeah.
It would like pack 2 episodes.
A 1 hour special.
Yeah. That was the only time I would ever see 1 hour specials. Like 24 would be like 1 hour episode because 2 episodes of 24, and I was like, oh,
was 24 a half-hour show?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I've never seen it.
I'm sorry, 24 was an hour show.
It was an hour show?
Yeah.
Because like CSI was always an hour show, I think, and that seemed to almost be like the weird thing back then, because so much of television was half an hour. But now just everything's a full hour, just all the time.
I think because
some people like had never adapted.
Yeah, the way it worked for me was
I'm totally into it.
I watched 24, which was I think I watched 24 and something else. There's one other show that was an hour long, and that was it. And then the moment both of those shows ended, I never watched TV again.
Fringe?
Fringe might have been it.
Fringe was the weird one where you just quit.
I did just quit.
Which you supposedly never do, but then you just did.
They just, the most unforgivable.
You claim that's a rule, but then you keep breaking it.
I can go back to it.
I find you breaking it all the time.
Fringe is still there.
You got me to watch Fringe, and then you fucking like quit on me.
I had to. They changed Walter. He's the only reason I watched it. Like, if he died, it would be better than just making him happy. I was like, no, I don't want happy Walter. I want sad Walter.
We never talked about this on this podcast, have we?
No.
You're the way you consume media.
I consume media.
It's worth establishing for future reference across the board, because I don't think we talked about during Sit and Discuss, which is usually you find one grizzled middle-aged man or funny old man or something, and that's the one character that matters.
Very much.
And if that character dies or changes in any way, then the show sucks now.
Yes.
Because that was the only thing you liked.
That was
usually
the only thing that mattered.
That's like you have like this is the Bruce Willis movie about Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
And if something happens to Bruce Willis, then it's a bad movie.
Basically, like that's why I hate Game of Thrones.
Because you were obsessed with the character that died in the first season. Yeah. Let's just not.
He was the only character I was like, oh, I really hope you're here forever. And it's like, into season 1, head cut off. Well, that's the end of Game of Thrones.
Which was literally the first thing I ever heard about Game of Thrones was you spoiling that for me.
I was really upset.
I was like, what's Game of Thrones? Oh. Why'd you tell me that? I'm not gonna like empathize with you. I don't know what you're talking about, but now I know that.
But and there's a lot of movies or a lot of shows that I'm like that.
At this point, everyone knows that now, or what the fuck.
But the point is that there's a lot of shows where like I have to relate. I have to find some character that's grizzled or like geriatric, and they have to be like interesting or cool,
or Harrison Ford.
Yeah, and it's like those are the people that are the only reason I will get.
So it's probably easier to sell you on like cyberpunk film noir, like vaguely Blade Runner-y shows.
Oh yeah,
like have you tried that new show on Netflix?
Which
the cyberpunk Blade Runner-y show?
No,
it's called shit.
Again, I don't watch Netflix. I only exist for me because I have family members who
literally
watch
the
it.
entire show is about like this grizzled man that is like he's brought back to life in like a new body because everyone has bodies now that like it's almost like surrogates or whatever.
Okay,
and it's like that kind of setting and everything, and it's dark-ish. And I don't remember what it's called right now, but I can show you at some point and link it to you so you can find it. Because that's probably the type of thing you watch.
I would watch that.
Yeah.
But if there's like Jessica Jones is hard because there's no grizzled man to follow.
I don't have a compass to follow. I could at least root for the villain, but he's David Tennant, and David Tennant's a skinny British man, and I can't do this.
I like David Tennant, but not as anything but the Doctor. So it's really tough.
Take that, David Tennant.
Yeah, take that, David Tennant. You're probably a good actor. I just don't care about you otherwise.
He's a vampire hunter in Fright Night. You get to see him fight Colin Farrell.
Well, he sold me on that.
That was a strange movie. I think it was David Tennant, Colin Farrell, and Anton Yelchin.
What?
It was the Fright Night remake where Anton Yelchin is the kid again.
Who directed this?
And Colin Farrell's the vampire, and David Tennant's the vampire hunter.
This is insane.
I like
casting.
I'm happy with that cast.
But yeah, so like anything that doesn't.
I might have been happier if Colin Farrell was the vampire hunter and David Tennant was the vampire, because I want to see hamming it up David Tennant vampire.
That'd probably be best, actually.
That actually might be best.
Yeah, that would have been best. But it's So
if you already don't like the first season, you're gonna hate the second season. Good. I can promise you that.
I imagine it. It's tough because
I like the second season, but it has all the warning signs of anti-Andrew technology.
It's tough too because what's it called? Like I when I'm watching a live action show, it's very, very, very tough to empathize. I cannot empathize
because they're not 2D girls.
Yes, and so because it's not anime, and because
anime has warped your brain.
Anime I can disconnect and I can accept stupid things because it's anime.
Which you have to. You constantly have to.
But TV
there are
shows,
entire character types of anime that can't function as humans in real life.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but with like things that happen in anime, it's like I can disconnect and still enjoy it because they're not people to me. They're animation. When I'm watching a live action, I get furious at people who do things that are not human. Where like people will say shit, how they interact with each other, the way that like situations happen. I'm like, this isn't how the real world works. Don't do it here. And it's like I can't disconnect myself to go like, it's just a movie, it's just a show, it's not supposed to be real. I don't care what you think. It's real people in a real place in a real time, and I can't disconnect that. I cannot take myself out of that. So when I see like Jessica Jones doing something like walks into a bar and like talks to a person, and then like she basically just like leaves when he says get out, and she like just walks away and doesn't like clarify anything. I'm like, that's not good because this is going to come up later. You should clarify. Why would you like a regular person would clarify at least. They're not just going to.
That's actually a recurring thing a lot in a game I'm playing right now called Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh boy.
Where like there are so many conversations in that game where like saying one additional thing would clear something up, or like one piece of follow-up dialogue could change something, but like literally like clicking on the wrong thing once can lead to like a fight to the death sometimes, and I'm just like, that's not a reasonable thing. Or like, okay, can I ask you about that thing? It's like, there's no option to ask you about that thing. You seem like you know about that thing. Why can't we just talk about the thing? I guess I'll run in circles for 12 hours.
And before anybody like throws their arms up in the air acting like lunatics, I get it. Like 90% of like romance anime is literally one person just not talking the fuck out. Like if someone just said, "Hey, I didn't actually kiss that girl." Oh wow, that's like 4 episodes gone. We don't have to do that anymore. Like I get it. Like, but I cannot disconnect myself in a real setting because I see those people and they're real to me. They're real people. Mm-hmm. And it's like, so I can't empathize in that way. So when I see stupid shit like that in TV shows, where I couldn't do Breaking Bad, which is why I couldn't do, what's it called?
Breaking Bad, huh?
I can't do The Family. The Family is just this fucking.
You can't do The Family.
They can't.
I was gonna say, like, you'd probably like Walter White, huh?
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
But everyone else needs to go away. They're not people I can just deal with. They do stuff that is completely irrational and stupid, and I don't want to be around it anymore. Like the wife is like literally cancer.
No, Walter has cancer.
Literally gave Walter cancer because
Walter
her existence
has cancer.
is just cancer, and I cannot tolerate her on any capacity. Everything she does, says, the way she fucking looks, I hate all of it, and I can't watch the show as long as she's in it. And I asked everyone who finished it, I was like, does she just die? And everyone, no, she's there for the whole thing. Then I'm not watching it. I'm not going to put myself through it because I cannot disconnect myself to just ignore that character. I can't disconnect because I'm like, your person. Act like it, and she doesn't. Every fucking time I saw her in that show, she did not act like a person. I was like, I will not be here for this. I will not tolerate it any longer. And
it occurs to me that I don't have a single person in my life or internet life or family period who ever agrees with me on basically any media. Like, I never have a shared opinion with anyone about all of media. Like, it's really interesting. Like, I don't just never. Nope.
I mean,
I'm sitting here like, yeah, Breaking Bad, basically the best show. It's like the best show. It's not as good as Better Call Saul.
I have it for anime.
Shots fired, hot take.
Yeah, I think
what are the memes now? Is it hot take what they say now?
Or shade, so much shade.
Shade.
Yeah. I think like anime is the only genre I have where I can like look like I can talk to somebody and we can agree on something. I've never in my entire life.
Well, there's a huge. You've filtered through a lot of society to get to some very like-minded people just by saying anime already.
Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like I can do it with that,
especially the anime you watch, as opposed to like I watched Attack on Titan and One Punch Man, the 2 big shows now. Want to talk about Fairy Tail?
No.
I don't even know what Fairy Tail is. I just see it on Netflix pop up a lot. I'm like, I guess that's probably vaguely popular with how much I see it.
Yeah, well, it's
probably
also
one of those ones that Andrew hates hearing about.
I've also read it all.
Am I correct?
Yeah, it's kind of crap. I don't like. I like
Nailed it.
I like the beginning, and then it got really poopy buttholes.
Is it the one that Michael Jones voice acts? Oh, you wouldn't know.
I don't know.
You watch Japanese.
I don't watch trash people trash talk over my anime. I watch like good anime with not trash people in it. It's like, but when it comes to live action, unless it's like an action movie, I've never.
John Wick.
Yeah, John Wick. I can't like.
The Raid Redemption.
The Raid's good. I can't. There's like, unless it's an action movie, I will not relate to any human on the planet. I never will.
I can relate to violence.
It's no, I can relate.
This is healthy. I can relate. I'm healthy.
Video games didn't make me violent.
It was media. It was my inability to relate with other human beings. That's what made me violent. Shocking revelations.
If it's not that, I can't. I've never talked about a TV show and be like, yeah, I can have a conversation with somebody about it. No.
It's
and
hard.
I've watched so many of shows that I hate. I've watched like Once Upon a Time.
Something that hits me is when I'll watch something on Netflix and I'll read the reviews and I'm like, what the fuck did they watch? I'm genuinely confused.
Yeah.
I'm like if you go to Jessica Jones and read the reviews, like all of the negative reviews that are just like sandblast, like astroturfing over the whole thing, are all about like the liberal agenda and like evil SJWs ruining media. I'm like, I'm like sitting there like trying to do the like math like backwards to find what they even,
the equation in your head
like I gotta find what thing they were talking about.
What happened?
It's like when people were like they said SJW is about like The Last Jedi because someone had purple hair, and I'm like, you know that colorful hair, like colored hair in a sci-fi universe, is older than like internet feminists, right?
Were you around in the 80s?
Where did they find out about anime where no one has normal color hair?
That was one thing I did never get that when people were like, SJWs and their hair colors. Like, I don't, what?
Everyone likes hair colors.
Like, literally, anime doesn't have hair colors anymore. They're just like...
They're just rainbows
things.
Of color.
Yeah, they're just like noise. I don't pay attention. I can't be focused on girls with like literally yellow hair and then next to a person with literally purple hair. I just can't do it. So it's, I don't know, but in any case, I don't like consuming real life media if I can avoid it. I've spent a lot of time.
They can't see it, but that's why the wallpaper cycle through anime girls.
Yeah. And
half an hour.
And again, Netflix and Hulu only exist.
They've already cycled 3 times during this podcast in the background.
Probably.
Secretly.
I mean, I only have Hulu and Netflix because I have family members that watch that stuff. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for that, I have no...
Do you pay for those, or are you like on a sub account thing?
Well, I pay for them, but that's because Netflix and Hulu...
Do they come here to watch on yours or something?
No,
or
I mean they have their own sub accounts, but I pay for the service, but then they just have their own accounts.
Oh, they're using sub accounts on the one you're paying for.
Yeah.
See, I'm a piece of shit. I'm using a sub account on somebody else's Netflix.
I just was like, fuck it, I don't know.
It's just easier. I was using it at my dad's house as a separate like sub profile.
Oh, okay.
And then I moved out, and I'm like, well,
I'm still here.
I'm just gonna keep logging into that one. Like, why would I not?
I mean,
it doesn't affect how much it costs.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing though, is but like I in the beginning I watched a lot of anime on Netflix and Hulu that like because some anime is fucking licensed on Netflix and will not be on the streaming site that I use for anime because they fucking
Devilman Crybaby.
Yeah, like shit like that. And sometimes I'll have to watch on Netflix, but I'll go on Netflix and every time I go on I'm just like flabbergasted by the changes. Because I'll go on there, I'm like, what are these tiles and what are these shows? I've never seen this. And
it's like, point Netflix started showing full screen trailers you have to scroll past.
That freaked me out when I went to watch Jessica Jones. It was like showing movies.
There's just not an interface. It's just a full screen trailer you have to scroll down past to find the website.
Yeah, like I was like trying to highlight Jessica Jones and like loudly someone was like, watch out. And I was like, what's going on? What's playing? And I look up and it's like some movie in the title. And I was like, what? Yep. Why are you doing this? I just want the movie. Like... It's
already autoplay next episode, but sometimes you watch something and then you're like, well, you're out of episodes. Let's autoplay a movie now. And I'm like, what? You just gonna pick something at random?
Also, you know what I love? I love when Netflix doesn't let you skip the intro screen for the first episode. I love that. It should be an option, by the way, because I didn't want to watch a Jessica Jones intro, but I had to because I didn't know how long it was. And then now I don't have to watch it because now
you can't watch it. You can't skip it the first episode.
You can, but you'd have to do it manually, like fast forwarding.
Well, that's what I mean. Like the thing doesn't pop up for the first episode. I guess I never thought about it because I always like I'll give it a try, And then from then on, I'm like, no. Because Netflix...
Because by default, it usually skips it for you automatically.
It does. It skips automatically if you're watching the episodes back to back.
Yeah.
But also, like, I feel like specifically, no matter how good or bad the show is, Netflix intros are, like, competing to be the most boring.
I don't know.
Like, I've watched a bunch of different intros for different shows, and, like, there's ones that, like... Sometimes you're like, yeah, I want to listen to the Game of Thrones theme and look at the map for a bit, and then sort of like get reacquainted with how it's all laid out, because it's teaching you the map every episode, basically.
Yeah, I mean, there's
and it even specifically highlights different spots and different intros that are more relevant to the current plot arc and stuff like that. So it's kind of nice. And like, I kind of liked watching the Sopranos intro. That was like 2 minutes of this song playing as he drives through the city and stuff like that. Like, I woke up this morning, got myself a gun, like that whole song.
Okay.
At least it's like there's a song.
Yeah, there's something.
Sometimes you like the song. Every fucking Netflix intro is like a bunch of abstract visuals of like Lady Justice or something like that, and like colors and like non-vocal just sounds.
Yes,
is the song, and it could literally have any duration. You can't tell. There's no feeling of like progress towards an end. Like it doesn't feel like a thing's happening.
Like that's why I hated like the Jessica Jones intro was just like purple, and then it was like burn.
It's the opposite of an anime intro.
And I was like, "What is happening? Please stop! I just want to go away."
It's the opposite of anime.
Yeah, anime intros are like blasting you with shit going on. They're like ba da ba ba da ba ba, and you're like, "Whoa, there's stuff happening. Who is that guy? They are fighting now."
Like, I used to watch the Bleach intro.
They're fun. Bleach had some of the best intros, even though I hated the damn show.
The season 1 intro though.
Oh yeah,
like that song still shows up in my head. I can't remember the words at all, but
well, it's all Japanese.
Yeah, exactly.
But like Bleach had some of the best intros, and they're catchy.
And, like I don't know.
And they have like they're really colorful, and there's a lot of stuff going on. They're interesting. And
or the fucking Attack on Titan intro that everyone can't stop thinking about.
The one intro.
Then they replaced it with a not as interesting.
Yeah, they tried to do it again in the second one, and I just laughed hysterically. It was like,
just sounds like a marching hymn.
Yeah, it's just like because it's supposed to be like a military thing.
But the first one was just so impactful. And
the first one was like,
why did you change it midway through the first season? You didn't even get
the first one just got like super hyped for no reason, because it was like you just you sit there like, especially how that starts the entire opener where it's like da 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 da. You're like, whoa, god!
The logo explodes at you.
Yeah, it's like everything just starts getting intense all of a sudden. You're like, oh, all right, man.
There's all these different fun intros for different shows. Like a lot of them have all sorts of levels of quality, but like
then there's Netflix.
Then Netflix, I'm like, oh shit, Ozark just shows a fucking emblem and then moves on. I'm like, yes. Like Ozark just has a 4-segment grid and has 4 symbols. It has like symbols that like spell out the name or something like that, but then they're somehow related to things that are going to happen that episode.
Okay,
and that's it. It's just like a 5-second picture, and that's it. That's the whole intro. I'm like, yes, stop showing me Lady Justice for 2 minutes straight.
Every intro from now on, 5 seconds. You got it.
Oh,
but in the end, I'm gonna finish Jessica Jones, and I'll be mad, but it'll be okay.
Oh, there's 2 good intros on Netflix.
Oh,
I remembered what they are. They're the first 2.
The first 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
House of Cards, Orange is the New Black.
Okay.
Or House of Cards is a bunch of scenic shots that are just like all these aerial shots and crazy stuff of DC, but it's all in fast forward and it all looks crazy and there's like time lapse shots and like
it's all like the speeding cars and all that shit.
It's some cool atmosphere.
Yeah.
And the Orange is the New Black is just a whole bunch of different like close-up shots of female prisoners, like jumping through them all, like highlighting like really close-ups. Like this frame is just their eye, and this is just their mouth. Like it's trying to convey humanity to you, like in rapid fire through diversity and everything like that, while it's playing a Regina Spektor song about prison called "You've Got Time" and everything. I'm like, yeah, I'll every time I start a session of Orange is the New Black, I'll watch the full intro for the first episode.
Has it not changed?
No, it's the same one every season.
Oh god!
And I fucking love it. I love the song. It's like catchy intro. Like it's like yeah. And then they never did it again. The rest of Netflix shows are like, this is miserable.
That's interesting. I can say I've never watched. I don't think I've ever watched finished a live action Netflix show.
Well, none of them are over.
Well, you know what I mean. Like,
I mean, Orange. I've
never like
House of Cards will be now.
Well,
I think. I don't know what the news is with House of Cards now that they can't keep their lead actor anymore.
Yeah, but
no, actually, it might keep going. I think I've heard that they're just going to make his wife the president now.
Good idea.
Like
that will get those views.
I think Kevin Spacey's just going to disappear from the show because
sexual predator. But I don't think I've ever watched a Netflix show.
That was distracting. That was definitely distracting news to hear when I was in the middle of watching Star Trek Discovery, which is where that actor is right now.
Yeah.
Like, not Kevin Spacey, but the other actor involved in that story
yeah.
is one of the lead roles on Star Trek Discovery, and I'm like, I literally heard the news the same day I was watching a new episode, and I'm like, this is... I can't... I'm thinking about the thing and not the episode most of this time now.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. What are the shows that Netflix has?
They have a lot.
What are their, like, popular ones?
The popular ones?
Yeah, what are, like, the most popular ones that they have?
Well, it's hard to tell because they don't tell you.
Well, I'm saying,
because, like, there's you get ratings on television.
Yeah.
But on Netflix, they're just, like... there.
You know what I mean? Like, what are the ones that people tend to talk about the most? Like, even when there's not a season going on, people are, like, talking about it a lot.
Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
House of Cards.
Yeah. I've heard those.
Making a Murderer.
Oh, I've heard of Making a Murderer.
That was a huge buzz.
Oh, okay.
That was the documentary series one.
That's the only one. Then that's it.
That one comes up like crazy.
That's the only Netflix series I've seen.
You've seen all of it?
I've seen the Making a Murderer.
Yeah. It's over because that was the end of the story. It's over.
But I only watched that because I was told by like 4 or 5 people that it's infuriating, and I was like, okay. But then I watched it and I just didn't care.
I'm not shocked at all.
And it's not that I didn't care about the situation, as in like I don't empathize.
I'm not surprised.
It's not that I don't empathize with the person. It was just like really boring. It was just like I didn't care about the way they delivered it. Like they delivered it in a way that I was just kind of like,
it is
okay.
It is an exceptionally long season for what it's doing to an extent.
Yeah,
the stuff that happens with the kids is pretty fucked up.
Oh, I mean, I agree.
I don't like.
I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying I don't care about the person in the situation. I'm saying like it was just I couldn't care about the show because it was so boring. That's you.
Is that my phone?
Yeah, you're important.
My phone never makes sounds. Why is it doing it now?
I don't know.
That was my optometrist for some reason. They're just reminding me of my appointment. Fuck off. I can keep track of my own shit.
But yeah, so...
I remember.
But
I wrote that shit down on my calendar next to all my video release schedules. Just mix that shit up.
But yeah, so that's the only Netflix series I've seen besides Jessica Jones now.
I feel like those are the big things, but also I'm always like, but it's like I'm out of the loop with what's popular a lot of the time, and there's no metrics to look at.
I was talking more about like shows that like are well-known names, like stuff. If you said, people would be like,
so
yeah.
One example I can think of that might be big, but I'm not sure, but I haven't watched it, is Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. People keep mentioning that show, and I'm like, maybe it's big. I don't know.
Wait, who's that?
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Who's Kimmy Schmidt?
It's a fictional character. It's a sitcom show.
Okay.
And Fuller House is probably really popular because that was the point, was to just bring back Full House.
Right, I forgot they were doing that.
Yeah, there's an Ashton Kutcher show. There's a handful of garbage tier like primetime Fox type shows.
Okay.
Just to appeal to the everyman, which is like
the lowest.
Same reason why old Adam Sandler movies now just come out directly to Netflix.
Yeah.
It's like because they make
weird
mountains of money.
I had no idea that this was like a thing.
So that's like the trouble with demographics in general, right?
Yeah.
It's like I think about the scope of like popular television, and for me, I'm like, wow, Game of Thrones and Walking Dead are like record-shattering, incredibly popular fictional shows, right? But then that's like if you're just like plugging your ears and going la la la, I can't hear you, to all of reality television.
Oh yeah,
where like The Bachelor is on like season 70 and it makes $1 billion trillion and it'll never go away. Yes, and American Idol's still there and The Voice is still there.
Oh my God!
But we're just ignoring it, and like for us, it's like it hasn't existed for 15 years and we're not even paying attention.
Yeah,
but, like, it's still there, and like what I realized from watching my own parents watch television is like, yeah, they're still watching like American Idol and Survivor.
Survivor's still on?
Survivor's still on. They're still watching television shows about like pretend thrift stores that pretend to be thrift stores, but they're actually lying to you the whole time. You know those dumb stores?
What? Like the pawn shop thing,
like
or whatever?
the pawn shop store, and like Storage Wars and all these like completely artificial shows that just pretend like the entire show is scripted and all the items are scripted and everything's just made up because it's pretending to be a show. It's exactly as real as ghost shows are. But the ghost shows are just more obvious.
They're more fun
because they're about ghosts. They're way funnier.
They're way funnier.
They're really funny.
I don't know how people can watch the other ones. They're so boring.
I have been kicked out of reality television watching sessions, basically.
Because you call them out?
Yes. I'll notice how they're manipulating us with the editing and stuff like that, and they'll be like, and they won't want me to watch it with them anymore.
I can see that.
I will have just been there because, you know, we're eating dinner or whatever, and I'm like, I won't tell them what to watch. It's fine. Yeah. But I'll totally like point something out when I see it, and like I was watching a episode of some, I think it was the pawn shop show or something. Yeah, I think it was Pawn Stars or whatever, and like am I fucking getting called again? What is wrong with you? Oh no, that's the spam person that calls me sometimes for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. So I was getting someone got a tip or something that like there was going to be like some sort of cool, crazy. They heard a story about some crazy, valuable antique car that got buried in the backyard at some point. And immediately I'm like, wow, this is really easy to fake because of how not AstroTurf, but like, you know, like rollout grass works.
Yeah.
Like you could easily you could bury it like 10 minutes ago and then cover it up with like the grass layer and it would look like it had been there the whole time.
Yeah.
Like that's how easy this is to fake. But they're digging it up and they're digging the hole and they're not finding the car. They're finding like pieces of some motorcycle or something. I'm like, this isn't the right vehicle, or this whole thing is a sham. This isn't working at all. Like that's the drama. Mm-hmm. Then the commercial break happens, and when they come back after the commercial break, they're hoping you forgot like what they said and what was happening in the show. But now they're still digging the hole, but the camera is interestingly pointing in a different direction. Like, you're seeing a different part of the backyard.
Oh.
And they're like, oh, wow, we're finding, like, the pieces of the car. And, like, they're all in a pile over here, which is separate from the pile for the motorcycle.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, you could clearly tell the hole was less deep all of a sudden and getting deeper because they were finding both the whole time and just pretending. They were literally filming two storylines simultaneously while they were digging the hole. Because the hole clearly got shallower and then got deeper again while they were finding the pieces of the car they were there for in the first place. It's like, so there was no drama. There was no chance that they were not finding it. They were just also finding a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And they cut it back and forth. They cut up the footage so that, because the actors are faking it the whole time, so they pre-planned to do this whole drama thing. So they're pretending to not be finding the car and finding the car at the same time and cutting those two in parallel so that one airs before and after the commercial break to make it sound like a drama happens and then a resolution of, oh no, it worked out. Like that's what happens is there's forced drama in these things. And it was the most naked version of it I've ever seen. And they were not happy I was noticing it. Yeah. My family was not psyched that I was destroying this show.
That's like there was that one guy I remember on YouTube who did those, like, he did those really shitty videos of where he would try to prove how hostile or toxic people are by like, you know, like
by having actors basically.
Yeah, but you know, he's that kind of person.
Or like the fake prank shows where someone's getting knocked into the water, but clearly the guy's sitting in like a giant puddle of water because like the seventh take.
Yeah,
it's like they keep doing it, and they didn't even go to a dry spot to hide the fact that they're faking it.
Yeah, it's like, because I remember there was like someone took a picture. I remember like specifically the guy filmed a video where he like he left a car out, and it was like it was like, I don't know what the premise was, but he just left a car out with a sign on it, and it was like, if I leave it in this neighborhood, people will beat up this car. If I leave it in this neighborhood, no one will, because people are respectable here. Yep. And like, someone was living in one of the apartment buildings where he was like, he was filming it in the parking lot, and so someone was living in the place. They took a picture of him, and like
hanging out with the person that's going to pretend to be the criminal and stuff like that. You could see
him standing there like with the camera, and he's talking in front of the car, and behind him are a bunch of people that are like holding weapons, like waiting to have their cue to go in there. And I was like,
yeah. I saw a similar thing where it was like an experiment where like whether or not your bike will get stolen in different neighborhoods and stuff like that, and it's like they're all totally artificial because faking it is so much less time consuming than actually sitting there and watching it for days on end.
What are they, cops? They're going to sit there and actually stake a place out? Like,
what are they, cops?
I just I don't know. I love that stuff. I never watch it, but I love hearing about I love seeing people watch it because it interests me to watch the reactions.
Just what are they getting out of this?
Yeah.
Like, is it like wrestling where like they know it's fake, but they're just having fun with it on purpose? Like that's the question I have about like Mike's DeClassa, because they just did a review on Half in the Bag about like a documentary about like a ghost house. Was like that was today's episode, and I'm like, what? But like he has this ongoing thing where he likes paranormal stuff that's real, and I think he likes it on the same level where like people like wrestling where it's real, but it's clearly super fake, and everyone knows that. But you just like it's like the no sleep subreddit where the rule is that you have to believe it.
Yeah, the rule is you have to. Yeah,
like no one believes the stories on no sleep, but the rule is you have to believe it.
Yeah.
It's that exact level. And if that's it, then sure, fine. That's the level on which I appreciated Gordon Ramsay's, like, the show where he goes to, like, American restaurants and he's going to fix them. And it's like, it's a fun story arc to have him, like, fix somebody's life every episode. Is like, it's a kind of an addictive feeling to just kind of watch that show a bit. But I don't think it's real. There's an episode where he walks into the fucking, like, not even the lobby, but like the space between the two double doors. That's in there's two double doors sometimes in like at the beginning of a restaurant.
Yeah,
and he finds like a dead rat there. I'm like, really? I really believe that you found that immediately.
Like nobody,
like the moment you stepped in once,
ever saw this.
The most highly trafficked location of the entire restaurant just has a dead rat in it. Sure, why not?
I've heard a lot of people tell me like a way to fix my problem with watching TV. And a lot of them were like, you need to just turn your brain off. You need to just enjoy the content. And my response is always like, I could just not then. I could do something else. I don't need to turn my brain off. I don't want to, which is why I don't.
So turning your brain off is terrible, and I've done that. I've experienced that.
How do you just not give a shit?
There was I have an era of video games I refer to as like the dark times.
The dark times.
Because BioShock got me into achievements. Oh, and I started caring too much about achievements for a while, some of the highlight moments of our games where I didn't process stuff this way, like Dark Souls, Bastion, BioShock, and other games are ones that they got my undivided attention. And Heavy Rain, which, as we saw on our dumb nostalgia trip, I was overly enamored by at the time. But a lot of games I would play while listening to podcasts or while listening to YouTube videos, and I'd be multitasking and not be fully engaged in the thing.
Yeah. Which
led to a thing where, like, I had beaten the game near, but didn't really remember what happened in it, besides, like, one of the bigger and more impactful cutscenes and stuff like that. So, like, weirdly, I was replaying it on my channel recently, and, like, for me, near was, like... It was like it was almost like new to me for a lot of it, and I was like, I don't remember so much of this, and it's because I was multitasking while I was doing it, and that's another form of like turning your brain off while engaging with media is like playing a game while engaging in other media at the same time. You're not really fully engaging with either of them, and like the stuff like podcasts, like what we're doing here, we're fully engaging with it isn't necessarily the best plan in the first place. It kind of serves that purpose of like we'll accompany you on your walk or the boring part of your job or whatever the hell like that and stuff like that, but like not. But stacking podcasts with media that would benefit from you being fully engaged in it causes the turn off your brain part, and so it leads to a thing where anything can be good. A similar thing happens to multiplayer. Like you play a multiplayer game co-op with friends. Yeah, anything can be good in co-op.
That's true.
It's the difference between playing 4-player co-op by Borderlands. Versus like solo, like I'm going to actually engage with the mechanics. I'm going to read all of the story, and I'm going to know everything about this game, and like how that difference can be so drastic in quality from person to person as a result of that.
I guess I think where they were coming from, for me anyways, I think they were hoping that I would just stop caring.
Well, I mean, the problem is
like,
that. The problem with doing things like the ways it leads to a thing where like my problem was that like everything for a while there was like near, where it's like here's a thing that I probably would have engaged with better if I was focusing on it properly, and it probably would have been memorable, but instead the result is I just kind of don't remember any of the games I played in that period. And that happens a lot too, is like I go to the theater with people that turn your brain off type people, and they kind of can't even remember the movie a week later. Yeah. And it's like, why did you even go if you weren't like even really paying attention? Those are the type of people that will text during a movie.
And I don't get it. Like I'm a person that will sit there and I will watch that movie and I will be super invested, and I will watch every single moment. And I do that with everything I do.
I had the experience with I was watching the show Heroes with Max.
Yeah.
And Max would just be on his phone the entire time texting people.
And then asking you, like, what happened.
And stuff like that. And it's like, wow, what a shock that Max doesn't really remember the show Heroes and stuff like that. It's like people will just not engage with media.
And I get it if that's what's fine for you. Some people just need that, to be able to just like turn off their brain. If that's what you do,
yeah. But it's shitty of other people to do that, to tell you to do that, because they're not actually telling you how to enjoy media better.
They're just telling you.
They just want you to shut up.
Yeah.
They just want you to change how you enjoy media in a way that benefits them.
Yeah, and that's always the way I take it. So then I just do the opposite, which is like, no, now I'm gonna over criticize everything that's going on. And like my sister does it all the time. Like, she'll be watching a show, and I remember she was watching like one show that was like had some really just like, these are not okay jokes. Like,
which, by the way, this is laying up in the podcast now that you can guarantee that somebody probably already wrote the comment you said about the Ready Player One rant earlier. And later on, this conversation is going to be about their comment without even us having to read it.
Probably. But
that's what people will say. It's like, just turn off your brain, man. Like they say about Transformers and stuff like that. It's like, but if you turn off your brain, you're not processing the narrative, then what are you even consuming? What are you experiencing? I
never turn off my brain for Transformers, and never will, because you people can't keep allowing that to exist and think it's okay.
They infected us with his evil chromosomes, is an actual line in Transformers 4.
And people say that.
We saw that in theaters with Joe, with all three of us. We laughed so hard that we were like, are people mad at us right now?
Yeah.
Because we made a bunch of noise watching it, because the movie was so funny, and like accidentally. Because Megatron infected it with his evil chromosomes. It's an actual line of dialogue.
And the thing is like, I just don't feel like it. I don't feel like it'd be worthwhile for me to consume something that I'm not being invested in to any capacity.
Yeah, if I don't care, then I'll just not do it.
Yeah. And so when someone says like, oh, if you don't like that show, just like turn your brain off. It's like, then why am I watching it at all? Like, I could just not do that. And
we're at a point now where there's like such an
abundance of media.
There's an overabundance of media. So like, I can't even
justify, like,
I can't picture ever playing a game like Warframe, for example.
Yeah.
Which is just about turning your brain off.
It's just
like,
grinding.
Warframe does not have stuff for you to engage with mentally.
No.
You just do infinite tasks in random locations that will just progress things, which is also what Fortnite wants you to do. The non-battle royale version of it just wants you to progress arbitrarily and blindly forever, basically.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of games nowadays that are they're called lifestyle games, which is the ones that they expect. It's the type of game that will worm its way into your life so much that you just take for granted that you're going to play it every day.
Yeah,
when you're
like World of Warcraft is a good example.
When you're full on into WoW, WoW had to keep getting more and more hooks to keep you playing every day.
Yeah,
because like original WoW was just you
mostly got on every day because you wanted to play with your friends. Yeah, it was more or less the concept at that point.
Original WoW was way less toxic, or whatever you want to call it. Like, it's way less.
It was way less unhealthy.
It was less sinister.
Oh yeah.
Original WoW, you hit max level, you form a raiding guild, and hey, like every week you can try to clear these dungeons, and maybe you'll win, maybe you lose. You get rewarded if you win, and that's all that's left. That's all that's in the game, really. Otherwise, you can fight each other if you want to.
Yeah, you do PvP.
You can talk and chat, hang out, do whatever you want.
You make guilds.
But then Burning Crusade is when they added dailies.
Yeah.
Now it's like, come back to the same location and do the same boring quest every day to get incremental progress on a progress bar that leads to you getting a little more popular with a faction that leads eventually to you getting like a Netherdrake mount, which I got.
Have you seen like how extreme it is now?
I did the same bombing run like 500 times.
Yeah.
I'm like, what was wrong with me? And then the next expansion added achievements, and then they added the garrison, which is when you do the timed quest where you send your guys to go for 6 hours to gather herbs or whatever.
Garrison was the most disgusting thing ever.
And then they added the phone app where you send them on timed missions.
So now you have... Okay, so WoW is at a current state now where you have dailies you still need to do for the new factions.
And none of these are fun.
No.
None of these are the good part of the game. They keep adding more to the bullshit parts.
They have the dailies, They have the monthly. They have dailies, weeklies, and monthlies.
And it's infected every Blizzard game.
Yes.
There's dailies in Hearthstone. There's dailies in Overwatch.
There's not dailies in Overwatch.
Aren't there like goals or something you can do every day? Or one thing that Overwatch does do is
they do weekly arcade.
They do have timed events where like you better get in now and get the special skin or it's going away forever.
No, it comes back every year.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you have to, like, they keep having another thing that's like, this is why you have to play it this week.
Yes.
Because it's going to go away.
They do.
You better do it now.
You can get, like, every week, you can get 3 free loot boxes if you play arcade and win, 9 times.
That's dailies in that aspect,
which is dailies, yeah. Which, it's not, I feel like it's not as sinister because it's a loot box, so it's all up into how much you give a shit about random stuff.
It's a Skinner's box system to get you to keep coming back for reasons other than the game is fun.
If you're not someone who's willing to just sit down and be good at the game, my problem is I hate the weekly because I'll finish it in a day, and I'm like, well, I don't need to play Overwatch the rest of the week, it's like, well,
I think on some level that's why people romanticize the vanilla WoW experience.
Yeah, because
people talk about
simple.
People talk about vanilla WoW as being this great thing, and in some ways it is.
It is.
Like, you played vanilla WoW too, right?
Yeah.
So like, one of the cool things I did like was that, like, for example, mana mattered.
Yeah.
You could run out of mana during a fight. And so you were choosing spells based on their costs.
Yeah.
And coming up with cycles and plans about how you do each fight. I played as a rogue, so for me it was like, oh, if I take hits, I could be in serious trouble because I'm a shitty little rogue. So you'd set up like stun lock rotation. You'd have like a whole dance of going in front of and behind your enemy and going around them and trying to manipulate them to not get to fight back.
Yeah,
and you'd only want to fight one dude or you'd be in trouble. And like you had like a whole system in place,
which is why parties mattered.
And so every class felt different, and you did different things. So like that part was all good. And like that, so like that, the unfortunate thing about now is even though they added like a level scaling system now to WoW. So you can play all the old zones at approximate level like Guild Wars, but you still basically just hit one over and over again because the game's mindless and easy no matter how much they scale it. So like that part I get, but I think there's also a second layer people don't think about as much of like when they romanticize old WoW, they think about how the game was just the game back then.
Yes.
And it wasn't 500 sinister hooks meant to monetize you.
There weren't a bunch of meta games going on where it's like the garrisons have no concept to me whatsoever besides
WoW used to
me to
not have a microtransaction in it.
True, yeah.
It's one microtransaction, I think, was renaming a character or something.
Changing servers.
There was a $10 thing, and that wasn't even there at first.
Changing servers came first, and then renaming a character came second.
Which is like, sure.
And then you had the typical.
That's almost like a price to disincentivize doing it. Like the price, the $10 charge for changing your gamer tag on Xbox Live.
Yeah.
It's like that's saying don't do it, basically.
Yeah, they're saying like pick your server and be ready to stay there.
And like back when, so that like at that point, World of Warcraft was a better, less manipulative product. It was a video game.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
Yeah.
And that was better.
It was.
And so like it's not just the mechanical stuff about how the game was actually more interesting to play, even if there were tedious parts to it. Like, for example, if we're gonna make a authentic like return to OG WoW, I still think that like mages should just like practically instantly recover their mana out of combat. Don't make me sit down for 30 seconds and drink something for no reason, because that was garbage.
You know why that exists? Because EverQuest.
Yeah.
EverQuest
like
had a thing.
That was bad.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that, when they removed that was good. But they made mana regen faster all the time, which meant that mana didn't matter.
Yeah.
And like that's not the right solution.
When I played EverQuest, like the most fucking worst class was being a spellcaster.
Yeah.
Because to regain mana, you had to sit down and meditate, which means your character literally had to /sit. He had to open his...
I remember that was why I played a rogue.
Yeah, he had to open his spellbook and wait for his mana to come back. You know how you can get mana faster? You can spend, like, I think it was like 500 gold and buy a horse. And if you're on a mount, you can regenerate mana faster from it. Because when you're on a mount, you can still keep moving while regenerating mana.
Oh, because you can meditate while riding?
Yes.
Oh, EverQuest is a big fan of texting and driving. It was safe practices. You're going to trample an orphan.
Mind-numbingly annoying. It was so bad. And WoW was like, we're going to do that too. You got to sit down and not do nothing while there's mana regens. It's like, and that's why food was such a thing. Consumables were a thing. Like, EverQuest took it to the extreme, and WoW never did.
There was something meditative and interesting about playing a character, like, and making a new character over and over again in WoW was interesting, because you'd be like, oh, let's do this starting zone this time in this class, and, like, figure out what rotation of spells makes me not be a dead person, because it was actually hard to live in the 1 to 10 zone sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you would just get stomped.
You could get, like, overrun.
Whereas now in WoW, every class feels like the same class for, like, the entire leveling process, because you can kind of just hit one
Also,
all the time.
I think Burning Crusade was, like, the moment that in-world PvP died, to me.
Because they had so many battlegrounds, and they also had arenas.
They had so many ways people could get out the want to kill people. Like, no one really just showed up to a zone where newbies were and were like, ha ha ha, I'm killing you. No one did that anymore.
They did add a... Well, I think part of it also was they added world PvP as zones, where, like, they had a thing that was happening, like those towers and stuff.
Yeah.
That was fine. It's the really cynical, horrible shit they added that's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, that stuff I hated. Because I especially hated having to come back every day to do garrisons and shit like that. And the only reason I had to do garrisons was because I wanted to, like, get a thing in my garrison.
They're Activision now.
Yeah. And so, like, but it sucked because they were like, okay, now we're...
Are you excited to see Tracer in Ready Player One? She's in the center of the frame because they paid the most money.
But it's like WoW does that thing where they have the stupid... Like,
top of the morning, love.
Buildings that you have to build. I hate it. Anyways.
Garrisons.
Let's do one question.
It is... I really thought we'd get more questions done, but we had stuff to cover. We can podcast forever, can't we?
We could.
I don't mean today. I just mean like, wow, like we are just going, and we don't really run out of stuff.
So let's see. Are there any languages you want to learn?
There's also been there's been a wolf. There's been somebody's furry husbando on the cover on the screens behind us this entire time because they embedded pictures in their emails, like some kind of monster.
Yeah. I'm trying to read it without... Yeah, so...
You're trying to read it while dodging all of the furry parts?
Yeah. So basically, his only question is, are there any languages you want to learn?
Yes, all of them.
Like, are you being serious?
Yeah.
You want to learn every language?
I mean, if this is like a wish scenario...
No, I think it's like, in a practicality sense...
No, learning languages is hard.
Okay.
I just want to, like, get the Babelfish or whatever the fuck. Just win at languages. I want universal translators. I think I want everyone to, like, that's the coolest shit ever. That's the secret crazy thing that makes the Mass Effect universe work the way that it does, is that everyone could just talk to each other.
Like Doctor Who?
And it's just no big deal. Yeah, like Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Like, they'd be so fucked if they couldn't talk to each other, which they tease in Andromeda because you have a first contact with aliens that you can't talk with, and you're like, oh shit, how do we do first contact? And like, it's like, is this gonna get out of hand? Like, whatever we do, like, we don't shoot first, right? Like, we got to see if we can like make a peaceful interaction with these people we can't talk to. I'm like, oh shit, this is tense. I wonder what they're gonna do with it. They're gonna do nothing with it. They're gonna do nothing with this. The game's a waste of everything. God damn it.
Okay, but
10 minutes later, you go to fucking capital city of a new alien race, and you can talk to each other, and you're like, what the fuck? Why does this work? Just throw this opportunity out the window. But yeah, languages are good. Learning languages sucks.
I want to... Oh, I mean, the two languages I'm learning now are, or trying to become fluent in, are French and Japanese. So I would like to just be fluent in those.
I want to learn whatever language I encounter.
Other than that, I don't think there's another language I want to learn.
I don't live in a location or associate with people that as generally leads to me even encountering another language.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, just ever.
I mean, the worst case is like Spanish.
If I enter a situation where I'm going to start encountering a language, then that is the one on the list.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not learning the language where I'm going. I have no plans to. I don't want to learn Arabic. It's like super hard and a pain.
It's like super hard.
It's worse than Japanese.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because it's literally Sanskrit. I don't want to learn that.
It's generally easier to learn Germanic languages because we already speak one.
Yes. So
German's a good place to start.
I don't want to learn German. I don't like German.
You don't like German?
I don't like the fact they just keep going.
You mean like the way the words keep going?
Yeah, I don't like that.
The secret is that makes the language easier.
The secret is that I don't want to...
Because all the long words are actually just a series of words put together, which means you have to learn fewer words.
No, I'm not doing that. You need to stop. Like
die Schwarzwälder is the Black Forest cherry cake. Those are just all words said together. It's actually just like how we call, like, it's like if you say apple pie.
Yeah.
It's like, what if there just wasn't a space? That's kind of how a lot of the nouns work. Is that there kind of just aren't two-word nouns or multi-word nouns.
It's a pain.
It just becomes one. The compound word is literally just the words put together.
Yeah, that's a pain.
So whenever you see a big, scary German word, it's usually actually just a compound word, which means it's not actually... It's kind of not technically one word, basically.
Okay. I think once I learn French and Japanese fluently, I'll just be done forever. I'll just be like, well, the rest of the world doesn't have languages that matter, and goodbye. And then I'll just go on with my life. Because I already know Spanish, and I know English, and...
I mean, English is a good place to start.
English is a very helpful place to start.
We're very lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever in the world economy and stuff like that, people are forced to learn English.
Yeah.
Like, I think, doesn't the UN have all of its meetings in English and stuff like that?
I think so,
like,
yeah.
I think everyone has to learn English. Like,
English is easiest. Easiest to start with. If you start out with English as your default, you're pretty on the right track already.
I'm not one of those people that's like, if you want to live in this country, you better fucking speak English and all that. Like, that
will help you.
Horrible shit. But I do think that, like, the ideal future is when there's at least one language that everyone speaks, even if people speak other stuff.
Yeah.
Like how fantasy universes have common and stuff like that. At this point, it seems like English would be the choice.
I mean, there's a lot of Hispanic families here do that, where they speak Spanish at home, but when they're out in public, they speak English.
Yeah,
because it's how they can function in society is speaking the language. It just seems like
if we're ever going to reach a future where everyone can communicate with everybody else, period.
Y'all got to pick one language. That's great.
Yeah, everyone has to pick one language. And I'm just saying, English seems like a likely candidate. I know that there's obviously...
I think there's more English speakers than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Because everybody in India speaks English, so by default we win.
You already have these mega countries like India and China that have their own culture and their own language and everything. And they're all learning English.
Yeah.
And it's like, if they've already chosen English, and then all the English-speaking countries exist, it's like...
Why would not?
At this point, like, that's the path of least resistance, isn't it?
English is just easier.
What's the stat that, like, I don't know if it's true or not, or if it's just like a Snapple Cap lie, because Snapple Cap lies to you all the time. But, like, there's, like, supposed to be some sort of metric, like, supposedly, like, there's more people in China learning English than speak it in the United States. Like, that's how crazy the stats are.
That is...
Because just so...
Sounds like a Snapple lie. That's ridiculous.
It might be a Snapple lie. It might be one of those bullshit things like the fucking daddy longleg has the most poisonous venom.
Yeah.
But it can't penetrate human skin, and by that we mean it's not a spider, and it doesn't have venom, and it doesn't have fangs. Because it's a harvestman. It's just a weird little ball on legs that walks around.
Yeah.
It's just literally not a spider.
I'm trying to, because like I said, I already know English and Spanish, and I have never used Spanish in my life. And
is that what you did in high school? Because for those of you that don't know, in the outside world, in the United States, you're generally required to take 2 years of a foreign language in high school.
Yep.
But
or 3 years if you don't have enough credits.
Yeah, they recommend 3.
Yeah.
I think they recommend 3 minimum if you're going to college.
Yes.
And then they recommend 4 if you want to get like any sort of like credit for it. That counts towards college or something, so you can get a head start. I only got 3 in, and I was mad about that. But I mean, my schedule made it impossible to take a 4th year of German because the only class of German 4 that existed, which was a hybrid German 3-4 class, because so few people got German 4, it was at the same time as a class I had no choice but to take. So I was like, okay, so I just can't take German 4. So I TA'd for that teacher instead because I didn't have a thing to fill my other slot of my schedule. I just had an empty piece of schedule because our school didn't have enough classes overall. So I just, instead of taking something else, I just TA'd for my German class. And I was TAing. So I was grading German 1 papers. And that was what I did instead of German 4.
I mean, it keeps you up.
I was known as ruthless, apparently. I was very mean to all the German 1 students.
Good. My regret is not taking...
I mean, they were wrong.
My regret was taking Spanish. I wish I took something else. But
do you forget all of it anyway?
No. I still remember Spanish. I refuse to use it.
I mean, is there context to use it usually even?
There's been situations where it would have been probably better if I had just spoken Spanish to somebody. Like a lot when I did construction there was a lot of times where the people I was working with only spoke, well, not only, but they would speak Spanish amongst themselves. And when you try to give them relay information, sometimes it's like the words get lost. Like when you say, "Hey, could you grab me this thing or this object?" It would help if I just said it in Spanish because they would get it faster.
You just won't?
No, I won't.
Why?
I don't speak Spanish.
What?
I personally have a very big disgust.
Are you just mad at your own teacher?
No,
I am
disgusted.
Like you're scorning them.
I'm like disgusted by the Spanish language. I hate everything about it. I hate the way it sounds. I hate all the words that exist. I hate the structure of it.
Did you just learn to hate it over the course of trying to learn it or something?
As I was learning it, I just became so bitter towards it. And I was already stuck in it, so I was like, I'm not going to just switch to French one or German one.
Unusual. This is unusual.
So I know it. So if people speak Spanish to me, I understand what you're saying, but I will not speak back to you.
Now you know what to do, guys. All of your criticisms of on his channel, just post them in Spanish.
I can read them. I just will not respond to them in Spanish. I mean, 90% of the time, I'll probably delete your comment because I think it's disgusting, and I don't want your disgusting language on my channel.
Wow, this will go over great.
It's fine if that's what you want to speak, that's okay. I personally will not tolerate it, and that's just my thing. I also personally won't tolerate a lot of other languages.
You've chosen the strangest hill to die on. For me, my Germans reached the point where like I would be like that girl in Lost, where did you watch the first season of Lost, like the very beginning?
Maybe, yeah.
There's a part where they interact. They're on like a hilltop and they encounter like a radio signal that has a voice on it, and I think it's speaking French or something. And like, does anyone speak French? Like, what are we gonna do? Like, oh, this one person like the one blonde girl like spoke like French in high school or something like that. And they're like, what does it mean? What is it saying? And she's like sobbing. It's like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Like she's at like that level of like, it's like they took it once upon a time, but then once it's counting, like it's not working. And like, what do I do? Like, that's my German. It's like the blonde girl on the hill and Lost. It's like, I can't understand it.
Meanwhile, on the opposite of it, like, hey, what is it saying? I'm not going to tell you.
Fuck you.
I would not translate this disgusting language. It's like, okay, well, you're not helpful at all. Push off cliff. Like,
I was impressed how little people could learn, how little progress some people made though.
Oh, in languages, yeah.
Like when I was taking German, we were on our last day of the first year, and like our teacher was just saying the most basic like he was just saying basic like 2 words questions at us, and we were just supposed to respond, and it's just a little practice, and that was it. He said "Wie geht's?" and the response was "Schoko shake." So it's like how are you doing? Chocolate shake. And I'm like, it's the last day of the first year. What the fuck, man? I think.
How do you guys not know that?
You didn't progress past the first week yet? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, it's some
like
people,
everyone else is like, and then they're like, this person can't ask how you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I can do that with French. I put a lot more effort into it than I thought I would, for no real gain. Because I already went to France and I couldn't speak the language very well.
So then you're just going back in afterwards now?
Well, yeah, I might as well finish it because I
might as well finish French. So you can prestige French.
I want to get like three star prestige.
I've hit a French New Game Plus.
Yeah, pretty much. And so I can ask how's your day going? Do you like to eat?
I have all the achievements in the Rosetta Stone.
They do have achievements.
Do they really?
No, not Rosetta Stone. The app I use has like a score system.
Of course they do.
But I just turn it off. Like there's a notification I'll pop up.
That's where the like emotional manipulation becomes less sinister. Is when it's used to gamify a process where you're trying to get yourself to do it every day, like working out or learning a language.
Yeah.
It's when it's like, we want your money, that it's like, oh, stop.
And it's nice. I mean, it's just like I can make basic like small talk with somebody in French, but like I watched a video of like
very, very small talk.
Yeah, very, very small talk.
Use small words, please.
Yeah, and you can't use slang, which is really hard. Because French has a lot of slang. And so, like, yeah, I'll try to, like...
fun stuff where you literally can't translate it.
Yeah.
Like the type of thing where you'll put it into Google Translate and then it'll just become nonsense mush, because they're not speaking... Because it doesn't literally translate because they're saying a weird turn of phrase.
Yeah. And that's another reason is, for those who are wondering, that's another reason why when you put stuff into Google Translate English to translate it to a different language, and it doesn't work, is usually because you're speaking in a way that isn't structurally sound in that language.
Or we're saying something not literal.
You're saying a word that doesn't work right. So there's like a lot of like French has a lot of those.
Like
where
that's
like,
hot.
Like like that's
it's
hot.
Like ow. Like that's not what they meant.
Yeah, and like French has a lot of them too, where it's like there are different ways for different genders to say stuff.
There's more than one way to skin a cat. It's like, what? Well, French says people like, why are you skinning cats?
And so there's it's frustrating, but I don't know. So those are the languages I want to learn. French and Japanese, you don't whatever is necessary for your life.
If I enter in a life situation where it becomes more useful to learn another language, then that would be the answer to the question.
Hopefully it's German, because you have some experience.
At the moment, I just want to learn how to talk to my parents. It's like they speak another language.
It's okay, Keith. Just focus on the positives. They'll die one day, and then you don't have to speak to them anymore. I don't have to learn a language if the entire species is dead. Like,
it's amazing how much shorthand is built into so much stuff. Like, it's something you can't measure, but when you're around somebody a lot, then it's just so easy to talk forever about whatever, because you figured out all the boundaries and all the shorthands and what you both know about stuff. And like, there's like we've reached the point where we can just talk forever.
Yeah, I could go on.
And it's amazing to people that the people that raised me, partly due to distance that already existed, and partly due to like just years of absence from each other in the meantime, due to like being adult now and everything, is like how much can build up between you as a result. Yeah, as in not like a rapport, but the opposite, like a fence. Yeah,
like a wall is being built as time goes on. Yeah, I mean, another thing too is like it's also dependent on how that person is. If if there's somebody who like changes drastically from when you previously knew them, it can be hard to like suddenly walk in that boundary, because you're like, whoa, wait, where did this, like, why is there a mine right here? Where did it come from? It wasn't here yesterday. And it's like your parents,
this mine?
Yeah, you know, like it's because now it becomes a minefield. You're like, it was clear all of a sudden. What happened?
And it's not even a purely generational thing. It's also just like friends from school and things like that.
It happens to anybody. It just, all it happens is like there's some either distance or life change or something is different.
Like, I don't know if it's right to do it this way or not, but like I sometimes treat friendship as if it has like an expiration date.
I mean, that's a pretty. I think it's a healthy way to look at it.
Or specifically like an expiration date when you're separate.
Yeah,
like when you don't talk to each other for enough years, it's like you basically don't know that person anymore, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like I think of like I had this classmate named Craig that they're there from the beginning of school, like all the way,
like when you started
first
school?
year, like and then all the way through all of middle school and high school, and I just always knew that person.
Yeah,
and then we graduated high school, and basically never again. That one scary accident I had where I drove south and everything.
Yeah,
the big long drive where I had people in the car and we fishtailed and everything. That was us 1 year after graduation doing a surprise birthday for that person.
Oh,
we're gonna go visit that person because we hadn't seen them in a year because they moved to like Santa Barbara, and we're all still around in like Central California, and it's like there's a huge gap, so we haven't seen each other.
Yeah,
and like that's the kind of thing that keeps that kind of relationship alive, like of knowing a person.
Yeah, you have to like communicate.
Yeah, but instead, that was the last time I talked to them basically for years and years. And like just one day, I just see on Facebook like they have like a degenerative disease, and they've had it for a while, and it's like affecting their life, and I'm like, I literally never heard about this. Like, I'm like, that's how, like, I'm just like blown away by like how out of touch we are and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, like all these things. And I'm like, I literally, like, I checked in one day just because I remembered that they had a band once. And I was looking into like, they have one song stuck in my brain just all the time. Like, I actually used it multiple times. I've actually used the song multiple times during those dumb old videos that were like commentary free, like video game music, like put your music in this game and record that and throw it up. I've done multiple videos of the same song because I just keep thinking about it and going back to it. And I was finally like, you know, like they probably don't even use this song or care about it for anything, and they don't have their band doesn't even exist. And stuff like that. I was like, I wonder if I could just like get permission to use it as like a credits song or something, because I just keep thinking about it. And that's when I find out about like all this shit. I'm like, wow, like I just don't. I'm just not in these.
You're not in this loop.
We're so separate at this point, and I'm so out of touch on everything. I'm like, how do you even talk to somebody with that when so much stuff is like you basically have to like try to reintroduce yourself.
It's really tough, but honestly, you fake it until you figure it out. You do that thing where like
you pretend you
pretend like
normal.
Time hasn't passed,
and
then you figure out slowly what has changed. And then when you figure that out, you can kind of like wiggle your way into going like, all right, so I know you've changed on this, you're still the same on that, I know we can connect on these things. And once it's like a couple awkward hangout sessions, but once that happens, you just go like, and we're back to normal. Everything's fine. But, and I mean, I get worried about that sometimes, because there's like, I'll have friends that I'm like, I don't want to lose those people. So then I have to like, I feel weirdly incessant to like talk to them, even if there's nothing to talk about. And it's like because I don't want like even if the distance, like you're saying, it's like, well, we didn't talk to this person for years.
It's like now you get to deal with the fun gamble of like, how do you manage like Joe and Kel now that they don't live anywhere nearby and stuff like that. It's like, you don't want that to just go away.
Yeah, I don't want those.
Like, at some point you run out of people.
Yeah.
Like that because I had a mass exodus. I'm the one who stayed here.
Yeah.
So there was a mass exodus when high school ended, and there was another. And then I made new friends in college, and then they all left, and I'm like, all right. If you saw the Unfairnament episodes, like that crew is just largely gone.
Yeah,
like
they're mostly just
scattered to the winds all over the world and stuff like that. And it's like, it's like hard to figure out like how to hold on to anyone or whether it's even you should. Will you even make contact with some of these people?
I don't think there's a reason to. Honestly, I think that there's like It's like I said. I think it's okay to have an expiration date on a friendship.
But the rough thing is you never learn how to make new friends because you were like forced to be in a building with these people. Yes. That's how you met. And a lot of people then are like, a lot of people never learn how to make friends.
Yeah.
Because all their friends are from high school and then maybe from college if they go to college, and then their next friends come from work. And so
that's me, and I'm stuck in that weird precarious position where I'm like, I made friends in school,
and
I never went to college.
We both work in our house.
But I never went to college, but I work at home, so like I never meet people. And the only time I meet people is like if I'm at the store or something. I'm like, oh, this person looks like someone I can communicate with. I can't do it because they're working, so never mind that forever. And I'm not gonna walk up to a stranger on the street and just be like, hey, do you like anime? And they'd be like, I don't know you, and please leave because you are dressed very scarily. And it's like I don't know.
And it's the weirdest barriers because like kind of some of them are like nonsense anyway. Like I know Bird and Wander because I reached out once.
Yeah,
it was literally my first try. I was like, hey, you want to make videos together or something? And then like here we are like 4 years later.
Yep.
It's like I did the
same thing with you.
I didn't even try multiple times. I tried once. Like that's all it really takes.
Yeah.
But it's like a hard mental barrier to get past sometimes. It's why I valued like visiting Bird when he came into the area.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a 90-minute drive there, 90-minute drive back. It's not great, but it's like the alternative is maybe never ever see Bird in person ever. Because that might be the case.
It's that's such a looming threat. It's like I will never see you.
It's like I've known him.
If you don't come to this lunch today.
Like I've known both of them online forever, and like
you've met Wander.
About 1 year after knowing them, Wander came here and like stayed at my house for half a week, and we played through Demon's Souls, and we hung out in your garage and played stuff for a bit, and he was doing a job interview thing and didn't end up moving to the area, unfortunately. So
but Bird like moved. Yeah, he like moved twice or once.
Bird
he like moved once for a job, and then that's where he's going to probably be forever now, theoretically.
I mean, he might just be up in Washington like forever.
Yeah, forever. So,
and it's like,
well, I don't have any reason to go to Washington, so I guess we'll never see each other.
So like, I made a trip, even though I'm like, we're not going to make videos out of this or anything like this. I'm just going to go have lunch with Bird.
Yeah,
but that was like it was literally like I just took it for granted. Like once the option was available, I'm like, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, why would I not do that? Even though, like,
I mean,
like it doesn't go anywhere. But obviously,
that was. And
I did not want to go there. That place sucks.
Yeah, I mean, and that was a lot of my. Could you not? That was a lot of my reasoning for going to France as well, was because it was an opportunity that presented itself to meet a friend in person that I've known for a year. Yep. And it's like, I would like to meet this person.
Which you met in the Discord because you met somebody at a midnight release for a video game.
Yeah. So weird.
Like, the connections are so...
And the way I met her is also stupid. Which is like, I had her help me set up webcams in my home to be viewed outside of my private network. And so, like, I had her view my webcam in my home to check if it worked. And like that was how
your weird live streaming your house phase.
No, before that. What? This was just when I was just first setting up my cameras, and I was like, "Hey, I just need to make sure." Cause I just went on the Discord one night, and I was like, "Who's up? I need to make sure if these cameras work." And she was like, "I'm up and I'm working and not doing anything. What's up?" And I was like, "Test this," and then we just talked.
And then next thing you know, you're skiing in France.
Yeah, and then it's like, "Oh, hi. I guess we're just friends." Like, I don't know how it. I don't even know how. Like that's the thing. I don't know how you do that. Like I don't know how to start that. But
even though it's like not hard,
it's not hard technically. But like I
don't.
Yeah, I just don't know how you start that. And like the other thing too is I don't know how to maintain it. I don't know any process of friendship besides just like, hey, I'm Andrew and I'm always here, and if you need something, just say something, and Andrew's always here, and that's all I know how to do. Please don't just I'm always here. Like, I don't know what to do to maintain friendship half the time. I just like, if people say, hey Andrew, how's it going? I am good. How are you? Let's talk for a while. And when they don't talk to me anymore, I just go like, okay, that's fine.
Goodbye forever.
Yeah, I'm just like, I guess they'll talk to me when they need me.
Yeah, I've always done something wrong socially, because just every circle of friends, every group, every connection that ever happens, like, I have to manually probe for every encounter to happen. I have to make, like, game nights happen, or let's go to this thing, or let's meet up somewhere, or let's, like, literally every instance of thing, I always set up.
Yeah.
Because none of my friendships have ever led to, like, invitations.
Yeah.
Where, like, hey, you want to go do this thing? Like, I just don't end up going anywhere unless I set it up from scratch.
And it kind of sucks at times, because, like, I'm also one of those people, like, I never set up anything myself, and I always just wait to be invited. At least do a thing
where, like, every circle of friends, I'm like, I guess I wasn't the reason anyone was there.
Yeah.
I guess they were all there for each other. Yeah. And the moment I don't actively make myself a part of it, I'll just disappear.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, great. That's a great thing to realize.
And I mean, it's tough too, because we're especially because we're getting to that age where a lot of people are now bunkered down in this, like, really like, it's like a it's like a co-op mode, where people are like, all right, we're, like, married or in a relationship, and now it's like,
this is a weird way to introduce what I already know what you're going to say.
Yeah, and it's like, they're in that weird situation where they're two people that have each other, so technically they don't need...
They're less likely to even reach out.
They don't need the other people.
Yeah, a lot of people are hunkering down.
And it's like, I don't know why that's satisfying to you, but please don't, because as friend, don't. Like, that's not,
Yeah, like, I know a lot of people that are paired off, so they're kind of just, like, quieting down.
Yeah, and it's like what's happening? Stop doing that. You're still a person. Like, you're not not one blob. Stop. Like, it's, and I get it. Like, some people are just, I don't know, they just don't care anymore. They just don't have the need because they're attached to some fucking other human every day. So they're like, I don't need to have social interaction. There's
probably some value of consistency too, and just that you get, like, you have your job and you have your routine, you have all the stuff that you have to deal with all the time. To, like, it almost like feels like you're, like, being in a relationship with someone is almost like the equivalent of, like, having a television show you watch mindlessly every night. Is just like there's something that's just always there, so you don't have to try for anything else necessarily. It's like, I think once there's just somebody that's home with you all the time, then you just kind of stop, maybe.
I don't know. It's tough because I've never been in that position.
I watched my dad just fall into the same routine and the same rut of, like, like, he'd work his job all day, and he'd go home, and he'd watch, like, laugh track comedies, and they'd eat dinner, and, like, go to work in the morning, and, like, loop, to
right?
the point where it's like, I'm like, it's hard to, like, come up with, like, what is, like, does he have interests or hobbies? Like,
yeah,
he likes motorcycles, I guess, which is part of his job.
But it's more like,
I don't, like, where do you, like, what do you,
but doesn't that
what
seem,
do you like?
Doesn't that seem scary, though? It kind of scares me to the idea of, like, some people will get into this, like, complacent loop that they live their lives in, where it's like, wake up, do thing, and it's like the same thing. It's always the same thing. Which is why everyone
freaks out when they hear about Max.
Yeah.
And his, like, crazy digital hobo style. And like, I'm going to just change countries every 3 months, or change jobs. Now I'm at PayPal. Now I'm on the Google campus. And
it's like,
all this crazy is happening. They're like, you're going to die, because that's not how humans work, because they're all, like, stuck in their infinite loop
they have this,
being the same forever.
They've been instructed to follow this, like, almost bleak and sad future of, like, monotony. Because almost, like, they've been told, like, that's security, that's safety.
You can almost enter a state of, like we always talk about, like, fanboyism, and, like, how somebody will, like, stand by a certain thing no matter what, and, like, because they've attached their identity to that thing, and so, like, that media has to be good, or that character has to be good, or whatever the fuck. But, like, the most personal thing ever is lifestyle fanboyism, where it's like, this is the life I've chosen, and I can't undo my decisions that led here, and I've committed this much to this thing. I have to be right.
Yeah. Like, that's another thing, is that's it's like one of the other problems.
Which is the most depressing, horrible thing ever. Which
that's
is
one of the things I hate about...
kind of why Night in the Woods was like the best game last year, because it's about some of that shit is just people being committed to where they've ended up, and like, I have to justify this.
Yeah.
I have to make this work.
I mean, that's one of the reasons that's why one of the reasons I've always hated like marriage entirely, because a lot of people instruct you to do that. They instruct you, like, once you get married, you commit to that was a good choice, and you will thick it out through thin.
It was rough, like, seeing, like, my life was planned for me for a while.
Yeah.
Like, you go to school, you had to get good grades in high school, to get good grades in college, to get a job, to get married, to have kids, to get a house with 2 children and a dog, and, like, a specific, like, rail, like
life on rails.
Yeah. And it's, like, it's weird, because, like, it's, like, on some they supposedly want what's good for you and everything, right? Like, it's like the point, but also like they don't know how to do it.
They don't either,
and they know how to do it even less when the world changes, because like the economy that they got it in is not the economy, like the world reality that they did it in isn't the one that we have. But also just this idea of like, what if you just have any other plans for your life? Like,
and
what if you don't want the exact life that they had?
And it's one of those things that like worries, like, I guess not worries me, but it kind of like freaks me out when I see people committed to certain things that are very like certain, like that, like the house and the dog and the kids. Like, people have those mindsets, and I'm like, I think you've been conditioned to do something. You should not do that. Like, and people will just justify it like super strong, like, no, I want children. It's like, I don't know if that's serious, or that you're terrified of the thought that maybe you don't, and you don't know what else to fill that gap with. Like, do you actually need to have a house that's like 3 stories and 4 baths, or do you just feel like you have to have that because your parents grew up in those kind of homes? Like,
it's a really confusing thing where like my grandparents are all really religious, like church on Sunday and all these different variations of whatever, and they believe in it, and like if you question anything at all, it will not go well. Yeah. Not even if you're not even trying to antagonize anyone. You're literally just trying to understand something. Yeah. Like, boy, did that not end well when my grandfather, when we talked about what happened about the people before Jesus. And I was like, what happened to all the people before Jesus? Like, were they all go to hell because he didn't show up yet? Or like, it's like, oh, and like, I think he said something along the lines of like, people before Jesus, due to their ignorance, like, were judged separately, essentially. And it's like, and it was after Jesus. Once that was done, it's like, then you don't have the excuse anymore. So then you have to be Christian or something. You don't have the excuse. And I'm like, does that mean that Jesus just doomed a bunch of people to hell then by even showing up, since everyone was okay before then? But then he shows up, and then that dooms people to hell because now they have to be judged when they weren't before. And he was not happy with that idea. That's criticism. That the idea of Jesus being the anti-savior. But I was literally just asking how it worked. Well, yeah, but you were asking a question. But by asking a question, it somehow is immediately a bad thing. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not even like, I'm literally just probing to see if you have an answer for that, because surely you've thought about this before. No. And the answer is no. No. The answer for a lot of stuff about how people lead their lives or religion, a bunch of things, is like, oftentimes they're like, they have like the most basic patch over it. Yeah. Like, it's like when you question the plot of a movie and like, well, that's there because of that. They're like, okay, but why that? And like, I don't think, like, they didn't think that far. Like, they had the one like, if you already believe in a thing or already think a thing is good or already buy into something, the first surface level answer you get is immediately satisfying, and you don't question anymore, even if that didn't necessarily make sense either. And that's how easily it gets patched. And so, like, oftentimes we'd get one question deep, and that was it. Yeah. And, like, it couldn't go any further. And I'm like, you've been thinking about this all the time your whole life, haven't you? Yeah. And you haven't thought about that next question yet? Yeah. It's the first thing I thought of. Yeah. It's like, and it's like, it's so hard to convey that stuff. And and it's not just a religion thing. It is a lifestyle thing of, like, a lot of choices. You will have a life where you get a house and you get kids and a car and a 9-to-5 job, and like there's a specific arc to it all. Otherwise, you failed or something. Like, it's basically like that's how the judgment is. And like we have a hell of a loop here where we had grandparents that all like served in the military and are religious and all these other things, Then like a middle generation that's after that, like no military stuff comes up, and no one's particularly religious. Then you get to like me and my brother, who are like not even slightly religious, and he's gay, and I'm not even pursuing relationships even a little bit. And I'm just dealing with like jobs and crap.
Everything's like off rails for both you and your brother, and it's just like, oh god, it's all destroyed.
Like, we both went to college, but neither of us are using our degrees for our jobs. But like our parents didn't go to college, so they don't know how college works anyway. And it's like am I living on the internet now?
Yeah,
I'm an introvert that has massive exposure, and like and then all these weird, nothing's planned, nothing works. It's a weird,
and that's why like that's to me, it's always weird to see people. Like I don't mind that there are people that want a thing. Like there's always going to be people that want stupid shit. You know, like people.
But like the people that buy into the generic way of doing things, they try to course correct you.
Yes, they try to. But
they think you have to be fixed or something going wrong.
But the people that think that their way of life is the correct way of life, it's like no. It's good for you because you're willing to tolerate that. Mm-hmm. I think it's shit, and I'm not going to do it. And they're like, "What else are you going to do?" Literally anything but that. Like I could do literally anything else but that.
It can be surprisingly hard to convince some people that I'm not like a welfare queen or something. Like, which is literally like not even applicable to how any part of my life works. But because I'm not working a 9-to-5 job in an office or something, like they literally can't comprehend what I do,
where your money comes
even
from.
When I explain it in like not complicated terms, it doesn't fit their view of the world.
Yeah.
So it's like it just dumps back out.
Yeah.
Like I've had to re-explain my job to my dad like 12 times. And it doesn't work.
I've done that.
I still get asked how's your podcast doing by a significant portion of my family on both sides of my family. When that's not my job. Like, that's not where the money comes from.
Yeah.
But that's the word they remember out of all the things I've talked about, because the rest of it doesn't work.
It's just garbage or garbled to them.
Like, I think my dad thinks I'm Adam Carolla. Because, like, that's something he can process.
He can conceptualize.
Because every day at work, we'd listen to Adam Carolla.
Yeah.
Like, his show on the radio. And then eventually his podcast. And it's like, so now he thinks I'm Adam Carolla, I think.
And that's good enough.
Which right now I am a little bit at this exact moment. But this doesn't make shit for money.
Yeah.
This makes negative money because I pay for a SoundCloud subscription that costs more than the total revenue of all the podcasts probably.
Whoops.
But I just like to do podcasts. We've been doing that. We did podcasts before we did Let's Plays.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about,
like, right? I have that with my grandparents, though. Like, I try to explain that I work from home doing programming on a contractual basis, and they're like, well, it's not consistent. It's like, no, it's not. That's the point. That's why I'm working so much. And they're like, well, why don't you just get a 9-to-5? It's like, it doesn't fit with the rest of my lifestyle, which is why I'm not doing it. And it's like, then they see me doing like college, and like, how are you going to have time for college? You have a job. And it's like
they think it's like illegitimate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they'll say like, and so my grandmother will send me jobs. Like, she'll see like, oh, there's a programming job. And I'm like, I don't need the job. I have a job.
Anything that doesn't fit into the right slot isn't legitimate. And it's one thing when it's like I'm making money from playing video games, but it's like it's shockingly hard just to explain to people, like when you do contract programming work, which sounds legitimate as fuck.
Yeah.
It's like, I full-time work on programming for a job, and it's like, but not, you're not in an office?
Like the way I've explained
you're not doing it correctly?
Like the way I've explained it to them multiple times is like, imagine when you call someone on the phone to come to your house and fix your plumbing.
And it's like...
It's the same thing, except the company's doing it for me.
Because contract work is how most jobs are throughout history.
I figured a contract job would be easy to explain.
You go back to the old-timey times, and like when I'm playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, and like, that is a blacksmith. Guess what? People have to come to him
and contract
to ask for work.
Yeah.
To, hey, can you make me a spade or something with your metal powers?
And that's his job, is waiting for contracts to come in.
That's what my dad does. My dad does contract
Your dad
work.
is a contractor.
He works at an upholstery shop alone, and people come in with like a boat or whatever the fuck, and he just has a map of a schedule.
Yeah.
I got a call from my optometrist, which is contract work, or not even not whether that's the right word or not. It's like it's people walking in to do the thing. Like you don't have an infinite guaranteed supply of customers.
Yeah.
You just hope they keep coming in forever, and hopefully they do.
You just have to like work
Which, by
really
the way,
hard.
Optometrists are fucking confusing, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Do you have a special one in town that like just sits in one building forever and you just go to them?
Yeah.
I hate you.
Why?
So in more populated parts of the world, everything sucks. Every optometrist you can find seemingly jumps between 7 different stores all week, and you have to make an appointment with them individually, and then they'll tell you what store they're on a particular day.
What?
Because they go to like Walmarts and Sam's Clubs and shit, and like go to all the different eye clinics. It's like it's amazing.
It's impressively annoying.
Every place that sells glasses has like a part-time eye clinic in there that you have to schedule with them.
You go to like one of those places in a store,
but like there's like no like there are like no just a dude.
Yeah, mine is just like
insane.
mine is a building that is just for an optometrist.
I hate it. I can't.
It's fantastic. I love because it's the same guy. He remembers me. I go in there and I just like I need to do this, and he's like, well, okay, and then it's the same process because technology doesn't change for eyes or something, and like and it's but
like
it's the same guy.
Like those people are doing the hustle of the contract work because they're hopping between the 2 stores, and like their days off will be like they'll be like Tuesday and Saturday will be the 2 days off because they have to work on Sunday or whatever the hell, and like they just
have to fit people in so they can make money,
and like because they need the contract work to work, like they'll go between like these 2 stores on alternating days or whatever because that's how they get their schedule full. Like that's normal jobs. But it happens.
Yeah, I don't understand. I think it's the programming part where they're like, I don't get it. How can you do the contract work by never leaving your home? And it's like, because I'm not literally programming with a pipe and tools. I don't go to a company and like hit a computer with a wrench and go like, you're programmed now. Like it's
one of those moments where the code starts to show on how some people process information in the world.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, this is why I can't like try to reach you on like topics of like explaining to concepts of racism and things like that, or talking about like urban development situations and like
these are very specific, Keith.
Or like the differences between like how different schools have different qualities and that affects entire people's lives and everything like that. Like I can't even start to touch this stuff because you can't even process slightly different jobs. Yeah, it's like some people are so on rails. I'm like, I don't know how they got there. And
their parents,
and as far as I can tell, they can't be broken of it.
It's like abuse. Their parents tell them to go on the rail, and they sit them on it, and they push them on the rail, and those kids just don't deviate because they're like, I'm supposed to do this. My parents did this, and they're successful, and I don't want to not be successful. No, someone needs to walk over to that kid on the rails and push him off and throw him on the ground.
I've had the most interesting conversations, especially with my dad, because I literally I worked with him for hours and hours every day, just alone with him in a shop. Just working on shit, and it's like you just will talk and stuff, and it's like I've been so blown away sometimes by like how there are concepts, and I'll be non-competitive. I won't be like, this isn't like opinion wars time.
Yeah, this isn't
like
a fight.
I'm just asking. I'm just like trying to have a conversation, and like I would develop strategies and learn new approaches and like find different ways to approach the same subject over and over again and stuff like that. And it was amazing how like some things are just seemed incompatible entirely. And it was like literally like being like plug outlet and like trying to show somebody this thing, and you try to like every day you try to come up with a different way to explain how to do the thing or like how this idea works, and just never. Yeah. And I'm like it's amazing because like those kinds of fundamental misunderstandings are actually affecting the entirety of how American society works. It
affects society as a whole when you can't just... And it's not just so simple as like, you just need to adapt, old man. It's like, you need to break your bad habits. And your bad habit happens to be your view and your like the way you view the world. You need to like stop looking at the world in a way that your forefathers and their forefathers looked at it. You need to look at the fact that the world is like 2,000,000% off rails. Every day something ridiculous happens that I go like, I can't believe I'm in the prime universe. Or like this is stupid.
Or just the horror to think about like, is this coming for me now? Like, do I hit an age where I stop processing new ideas, or like, is the damage supposed to have already been done by now? And like,
I want to say,
am I different? Like, how you can't know until it's too late, and then when it's too late, you won't know.
See, I feel
you'll never know.
I feel like it's your 20s. Like by the time you reach like your late 20s, if you have this like super solid, super secure, 100%, I know exactly what's going down for the rest of my life plan, and you've had that plan for a long time, you feel like that plan has been with you forever, you're a problem. You need to change that. Stop doing what you're doing. Like that is you. And I'm not saying you have to like, you can't do any of that stuff. I'm saying you need to take a step back and go like, Is that you saying that, or is that someone else
something
guiding
I've done
you?
for the longest time, and I did it beforehand too, but it's kind of summarized by a quote I encountered from Vlogbrothers that I really enjoy, which is that I can't even remember which one did it at this point, which is a problem. But I think it might have been Hank, because I think John might have been jealous of him for coming up with a good thing when he's supposed to be the writer and stuff like that. Is like he said, the truth resists simplicity, and like that. Yeah, that so greatly summarizes something that I was already thinking, but it gave me a way to express it exactly.
Yeah,
and that's something I always latch on to all the time. Is that like the answers for everything are complicated.
Yeah.
If anyone ever presents to me an easy solution, an easy answer for huge sweeping things, then I know they're like a snake oil salesman. And like, so like, I've gotten arguments about this plenty of times in the past because people will talk about common sense. And like, whenever somebody poses common sense solutions or common sense anything, I immediately distrust them. Because common sense is never actually like a thing.
Yeah.
Like, the common sense solutions to problems aren't real.
No.
And generally what you're actually saying when you say common sense is you're expressing the idea of you're already right. It's that feeling of like, don't worry, you don't have to think anymore. You don't have to challenge yourself. You've been right all along.
Yeah.
Is what someone's saying when they're pandering to you by talking about common sense solutions. When they're actually talking about, like, usually talking to a group of people that already agree with them, and they're just saying, we've been right all along. We don't have to think about anything. It's everyone else that's doing the problem, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Because common sense is just the idea of what feels right. And it's always, that's always bullshit.
I'm one of those I'm not a good judge of that, because I'm one of those kind of people that I can take any problem, no matter how big or how small, and I will turn it into a nuclear explosion of, like, every possible avenue go down. So like it could be something as simple as like, do you want to eat toast this morning? And I could just be like, I don't know if that would be a mistake or not. And it's like, it will never be a mistake. It's just fucking toast. Like, you eat it and you'll go about your day. But like, I can sit there going like, is it nutritionally valuable? I've been eating it every day like recently. Should I eat something different so I can change my body up? And it's like, I'll go through so many scenarios for because in my mind there can literally be no simple answer to things. There can't just be just gut feeling. No, you can't just gut feeling that shit away. Like, it's important. Every choice is important. Like, and I regret so many choices in my life because I just
went for something.
Yeah, just went for something. Mm-hmm. And then it's like,
which is the rough thing, because even no matter how much you think about it, the majority of your decisions are made almost like an automatic.
Yes.
Sense, because you're always making decisions at all times, whether you're thinking about it or not, just by existing.
And so there's
it's just the ones you think about that you latch onto, but you don't know which ones you're thinking about.
Yeah, the problem that always like bothers me is the ones I regret are the ones that are autopilot.
It's why people
that's the ones I fucking
It's why
hate.
people get like culture shock and like panic for a moment whenever they hear about like a hippie commune where money doesn't exist or something like that, and like this is too counter to all of my assumptions about how life has to work and what works, so I have to like angrily prove you wrong and immediately show my disapproval of this thing because I have to like stamp it out because it makes me it's like a fire burning a hole in society. It pulls at the cards of my house of cards, and and you're gonna break everything. Yeah, like that.
Which is how communism scare worked, which is how like religion scares work, which is all that stuff.
Every word is scary. Like socialism, communism, anarchism, libertarian. Muslims are gonna get you because they're different and sometimes
because they're not Christian. Get them out
because you haven't met them, so that means they're scary. It's
just all that kind of stuff, and that's the thing I hate is that mentality comes from an on-rails life. You live your life on rails, and there's the things that are supposed to be there.
Yeah, and we talk about like the liberal brainwashing of college and stuff. I'm like, we never talked about politics ever, really?
Yeah.
Even in my politics classes, which somehow every political teacher is always conservative somehow. But also, like, I was just surrounded by people who were different from me all the time.
That's why.
So I met a bunch of different people.
The liberal agenda is to meld all the people together and make them not hate each other.
Guess what? You go to college and suddenly, no matter especially if you're like me and grew up in an area that wasn't the case, You go to college and suddenly there's a lot of Arabic people and there's a lot of Chinese people.
Yeah.
And that's just part of it.
If you go down a little bit ways from where you went to school at, it's a lot of Russian people and it's a lot of It's a lot of Koreans.
Whereas like we like see an erratic driver and my mom will be like, they're probably Chinese, and I'm like, what is okay.
Yeah. I mean, but those are like on rail. And it like, to me, that's why I say, like, to me, it seems abusive to, like, set that up. Like, there are things you can ask of, there are things you can suggest of someone. Hey, son, I would suggest you would go to college if you wanted to get, like, a specific job. If you wanted to be an astronaut, you got to go to college. There's specializations. But it's not a force. It's not a choice. It's not you have to
we have the scary system where, like, you're literally not... You're already making important decisions about how your life's going to turn out before your brain's even done developing.
Yeah.
Like, you're still working... Like throughout high school and everything, your brain is not done yet.
No.
Like,
not even close,
one of the big things
actually.
is, like, the part that deals with, like, empathy and shit like that is still working on it, which is why a lot of kids are, like, really horribly cruel in school settings and stuff like that. And then they're like, oh, sorry, I did all that stuff. When they say what they say when they're, like, 25.
It's too late now, sucker!
It's like, we're all grown up now, right? And stuff like that. But, like, but some of that trauma, like, just sticks with people forever over the shit they went through.
Yeah.
But, like... it's like you don't have the faculties to make decisions about yourself yet, but you've already made them.
Yeah.
Is the horrifying thing.
Pretty much.
Is like you've already figured out what job you're going to or what college you're going to, and for some people it works out. For some people, you're that guy in my graduating class that like had a free fucking ride through flight school already.
Dang.
It's like, god damn.
Or you could be like the guy that was in
he essentially had grants that were worth the equivalent of like $400,000.
Or you could be like the guy that was in my graduating class who killed himself on graduation night by getting drunk and running into a streetlight.
It's like you're not.
There are all walks of people in this life,
but at that age, people are already getting people pregnant. They're already getting ready. That's happening.
You sound like one of those mongers on Fox News. I'm not people out there are getting people pregnant, and we can't stand for it.
I'm not doing like reefer madness outrage type stuff. I'm talking about just the reality.
Just the reality that this like society has people.
Unchangeable things are happening to people before they even know themselves.
Yes,
and they're marrying people and having kids and already have career trajectories, and then you've made these decisions before you had the faculties to make them, and now you just have to live with it.
And then you wake up,
and a lot of people live with it by just justifying it.
They
I have to have been right, otherwise fuck.
Yeah.
This is my one chance.
Yeah. And I just call it complacency. You get complacent because if you think about anything else other than what you live with, it's terrifying to you. You have to like put yourself in that, like, it's okay, everything's good, I want this, I'm 100% certain, and like...
Your dog's being bizarre with that bed
yeah.
right now.
And I think and one of the things too is like there's so many different like social stigmas that go on with certain choices, and there's so many things where when you sit down and you question something, you have to take like a multi-step process of going like, I could have been wrong. I may have to fix this problem. I don't know how to fix this problem, and I don't know what the right solution is. And yeah, it's kind of scary, but are you just gonna like negate all that because it's scary? But your life could be so much better. And someone will always argue.
And sometimes you are just wrong, and committing to being wrong and doubling down on it like just makes things worse.
I hate doubling down on wrong. When I see people double down on it, it saddens me, because like I will, if I find somebody who's very committed to a certain topic, no matter who it is, I will always like, if I say something they seem like really like, like really committed, I'll back off, because I'm like, I don't want you to double down on this, but I don't know like how to, like, I have to like try to find a way to avoid talking about it ever again too, because I can't.
I just think like I had to, in more innocuous ways, like I had like a D&D campaign where somebody like, they kind of made a mistake of like kind of wandering off alone ahead without checking with the rest of the party or something, and kind of got like murked. But also there was a misinterpretation of a particular mechanic and stuff like that. He like dramatically gathered his 500 bags of dice and his folders and his papers silently, and then stormed off, and then came off. Then he came back like half an hour later, pulled the DM separate from everyone, lectured him as if it had somehow separating him from the group makes it less obvious what's happening, as if we can't all hear and see the whole thing happening because he's the DM. He's not like you're gonna hide that. And
also, the story can't continue without him.
And then, but then we're asking about like, it's like why didn't you just like, because he's framing his anger as being like about the rules being broken or something like that. It's like why didn't you just like when
question it?
Seems more likely that he was probably just ashamed and embarrassed of like the dumb mistake he made and like left because he's just the person that gets mad about those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And when he asked him, but since he was claiming the excuse was that because of the rules infraction, which he lectured the guy about, but most likely what happened, he probably was angrily in the other room, like brainstorming ways that the DM is wrong to get out of this mess or something like that.
Yeah.
It's probably what happened. He's trying to like, no, I'm right. I have to be right. And then like his excuse for why he didn't just bring up the rules clarification on the spot like we do in every tabletop game ever, because tabletop games are all about constant rules clarifications because they're complicated, unless you're playing Carcassonne. Nice and straightforward. His answer was like, it's like he basically said like,
it's not my job.
He basically said something along the lines of like, if the stuff I would have said I wouldn't have been able to take back, and they just looked furious and stuff like that. It's like, really, you were going to say like a friendship shattering thing over like a misinterpretation over how magical darkness works? Like, really? It's like
you're taking that role playing to the very extreme there, sir.
And to this day, like he doesn't get invited to things, and like he doesn't like nobody wants to see him around anymore because like consistently he is like he won't ever like he's the type of person that will put other people down whenever they're wrong about something, but he will never
tolerate
ever
other
admit
people.
him being wrong.
Yeah.
And like he can't ever be wrong about anything, and he'll take things as massive slights and he'll just commit to it, and he'll just stand by his own actions forever.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it just breaks everything down. And there's no cracks showing in the armor. He just commits to it forever. And I'm like, dude, I
hate that shit.
So much easier if you just like acknowledge you were out of line for once or something.
Yeah. And I mean, I've experienced those kind of people myself. And I mean, like, especially with the people with life plans that are like that, is like people who are stuck on with their ways in life. Is like my sister's one of those people where like she is like 100% dead set that she must get married, she must have a family, she must, and it's like I always have to explain to her like, no, you don't, because she'll like get super depressed if she's not in a relationship. She's like, well, I'm failing at doing my life plan. Like I was supposed to marry this guy, and it's like, no, you weren't. You were supposed to just hang out.
Like, I sit there in the room that I'm renting, and I stare at the ceiling in my bed, and I'm like, I've been here for how many years now, and like, is this? Like, where will I be next?
Yeah.
Where's this going? Am I doing anything right? Like, I get that feeling.
Yeah.
But I just wallow in it. I just accept the feeling of distrust of my own future.
Yeah.
And I just have it. As opposed to trying to hide it or escape it.
See, the only thing I do is like I said, I overthink it. I just think of every possible solution. I like half the solutions I think about, I'm dead. And it's not to say like I'm trying to kill myself. It's just like, I could get hit by a car. I could get hit by a bus. I could get hit by a truck. I can get hit by like a lot. I go through every.
God damn!
I go
Final
through
Destination approach to things.
I go through as many scenarios as I possibly can, because then I ease the anxiety. I don't feel as nervous when I think about the fact that tomorrow I could literally be president of the United States. Or
no, you can't.
Yeah,
that's
you
not how it works.
But I'm saying,
definitely there's reasons why they can't be true.
You know what I'm saying. The idea is like
you can get hit by a car tomorrow.
Yes, thank you.
Cannot become president. There's
you don't know that, Keith.
No, there's steps.
Nope, I could kill enough of them, and they'll all have to go back to me at some point.
You could make a fake thing called the United States in a video game and become president.
Maybe,
but it's not the same thing.
Like in 10 years' time, I could be a CEO of a company, or I could be still working like dead end entry level jobs. I have no idea. But if I run through every scenario,
nobody working at Walmart at 60 thought they'd be.
Yeah, and
unless they specifically went there when they were 60, because
yeah,
there are some jobs that are good for when you're older and you're like, I got to go back to work and I'll be a Walmart greeter. But a lot of people just are in a place forever.
Yeah,
I had that encounter with my mom. We went to a restaurant, and like she is a supervisor at Chevron. Like she's been busy. And I don't mean the guy would have to specify. I don't mean the gas station. I mean like refineries.
Yeah.
Like she went up the ladder and she's doing good. And now she doesn't have to.
The gas station.
And in fact, she climbed ladders so much she doesn't even have to climb ladders anymore. She's done with that shit.
Did she run out of ladders?
No, she used to work with a job where you'd climb ladders, but now not. Like going up the stacks.
Oh, like literally ladders.
Yeah, actual ladders. But
that's what my dad did. He used to climb. Yeah, he used to climb the stacks.
Supervisory and shit.
And now, that's what my dad does too. He used to climb the stacks for.
We find out our parents work in like offices next to each other.
No, my dad worked at 76 at Shell.
Different company.
Yeah, different company, but they're in the same job, I bet. Which is
like we went to a restaurant.
Oversees.
We went to a restaurant, and like one thing I know about my mom is that when she met my dad, she was working as a waitress. Like she was always working as a waitress for the longest time back then. And she'd often work like 2 places at once and like stuff like that. It was a place she used to be a waitress at, and one of her coworkers is still there.
That's
from before I was born.
Crazy.
And it's like, I don't know what their plan was.
Yeah.
Is that what they wanted?
Maybe they got married.
Is it working out? I don't know.
I mean, like, that's the thing is like some people.
That's the fear we all have is like, is this the forever?
Yeah.
This thing that isn't quite working, but is kind of working? And
I like to just.
Does stuff just kind of work until you die?
Kind of, yeah. I like to think, like, in my mind, I like to think nothing in your life is permanent. No friendships, no relationships, no family members, no job, no home, no anything is permanent. It can just be taken from you. I can take anything from anyone instantly because and anyone can do that to anybody too. We all have that power. I can go up to some random stranger and be like, your kid is not here anymore and stab their child. Gone. I just took that away from you and I can just run off. And it's like anything can be taken from you. So don't think anything is ever a forever choice. Don't think everything is like set in stone. This is it. I done it. I'm, I have
all of these anxieties and all these fears. Is why people like stuff like Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Because it's just comfortable and familiar.
And that's why people turn their brains off.
And
so they don't think about the scary.
Stop thinking, and they just get their comfort bracelet on, and they say member.
Yeah. Like, this house has a 30-year loan on it. Am I going to fucking want this house in 30 years? Probably not. But, like, will it still be here in 30 years? I don't know either, because maybe the house will burn down. But like
I was like, there's not a lot. I mean, you have burned it a few times.
I have. And so I'm
literally looking past you at the patch of wall where the wall was burned.
Still there. Yeah. And maybe one day it will just finally burn down. But I don't know. But I took a loan for 30 years. Like, what? That's a commitment that's stupid beyond any comparison.
It's terrifying.
But it's not even terrifying. It's crippling. Because it kind of binds you to a place that you maybe not want to be in for 30 years, but someone told you you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
My God, sir, you must have that house forever, and your children's children will live in that house forever.
So this was our dedicated question podcast where we got through our whole backlog of questions. It's our longest one so far, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Oh my God, it's 3 hours and 19 minutes, plus
so
or minus
sorry.
editing time. We went places.
We really need to get like somebody to.
I mean, this might be better than answering questions for all I know.
Yeah, but I mean,
send your questions to SitAndDiscussPodcast@gmail.com. Maybe next week will finally be the one where we burn through our whole backlog.
Maybe.
So maybe I won't walk in and see another book I'm angry at. I'll
hide my books, guys.
Although I literally can't trace back the trajectory of this podcast.
You can't?
It went to a lot of crazy, serious places and stuff, and I don't know what all the connected tissues were.
I do.
All I know is I look at the time, I'm like, all right, shit, time to record Zero Escape. See you guys next time.
Bye!